What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people when I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Got a full show lined up for y'all today. It's Monday, June 9th, 2025, year of our Lord. And I'm excited to be kicking it with y'all today. What's up, friends and family? How y'all feeling today? Life is good. I have no complaints. Literally zero complaints whatsoever. I mean, if I did, who would care, right? So people don't want to hear all of that nonsense. They just want to kick it. What's up to my friends out here in the streets? What's up, chat? What up, Room 9 in the building? I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Just a little bit of housekeeping. I did update the Patreon today with the location, official exact location. That is not to be shared online. Again, that is not to be shared online. I am not going to be dealing with an overflow because people wasn't able to keep themselves together and keep a secret. You know what I'm saying? It's our special secret. It's for the people that's only a part of the Patreon. So if you are a part of the Bag Chasers, let me know inside of the comments of the post for the meetup. This month, the end of this month, it's gonna be awesome. So I'm looking forward to kicking with y'all in person. We restarting the meetups, and so that's what's popping. What up, in Patterson? Finally caught a laugh, says Miss Flulin. Hey, the kid's about to be out of school. Kids about to be out of school. Happy birthday, Tiffany J. Birthday was Saturday. What'd you do for your birthday? What'd you do for your birthday? Kids is about to be out of school, y'all. So that means that it's going to be better traffic getting back and forth to where I need to go. You know what I'm saying? AD, you heard two people were shot and killed at the Bellagio fountain this morning. I did not, Pat. I did not. I haven't heard of that, but you just now familiarizing me with it. Maybe I'll introduce it as a part of the show tomorrow once we get some more information on it. They already out down here. It says right on. Yeah, they out a lot of places. My daughter gets out of school this week, so she got a half a day every day this week, and then she out of school, and then she hit me with that crazy text. Dad, I got accepted to go to Korea. I'm like, congratulations. You know, to us, tell you what it means to fathers. Let me tell you what that means to fathers. When women and daughters come to you and they come with whatever it is that they're excited about. Oh my God, I'm so happy. Oh God, this happened to me. You know what that means? Not here in Michigan, KP Ellis. You know what that means to us? More money. More money. Dad got accepted to go to Korea. Guess what? We're going to have to fly there. Who was we? I'm sorry. Who was we? We're going to go, Dad. We're going to go. We got to go over to Korea. I got to compete over in Korea. Okay. All right, Les. All right. All right. What up, Chip the Great? What happening? What's up, your car? I gotta pray. Y'all want me to pray? Lord bless us to have a good week. Not just a good morning, but a good week, a good afternoon, a good day. We got the Q show tonight. So I'm gonna be chilled. I'm gonna be relaxing, kicking it on the platform, having a good time, running it up. Running it up. How do y'all shout out to Fugitive TV? How do you guys deal with younger kids today? Because my daughter is 17, about to be a senior, going on 18. So it's a completely different thing. I was somebody told me that I ran into them. They said that they had a kid that was 30 and a kid that was 1. I said, had a kid that was 30 and had a kid that was 1. I said, dog, you don't want no kind of peace in your life, do you? You don't want no kind of peace in your life. In Jesus' name, bless us to have a good day. Bless us to have a good week. Bless us to have a good show. Bless us to have a good Q show tonight. Bless us to be awesome. And for things to go well. I'm looking forward to it. I will say, thank you, Working Class Tex, and I appreciate you. I will say that before we get started with the show, that I had a new revelation. So my revelation is this. Remember how I have been telling you guys that I have been experimenting with travel in different places and that I will be in a different place and all of this stuff. And I wanted to start experimenting what that's like to continue to get back out there and be in the streets. Well, I am going to do that, but I've decided to do it differently after my past previous experiences over these last couple of months. So what I've decided to do, starting in late July, beginning of August, beginning of August, you welcome, William. What I've decided to do is I want to be on the streets. I want to be on the streets. What does that mean by being on the streets? That means that I want to be on the ground. It hurt my heart. It just hurt me to my core that I could not be out there for the LA riots and be reporting on the ground and capturing the moment in real time. It bothered me. It bothered me. And so I said, man, I should be there. There's no reason why I shouldn't be there. I've spent a long time of my adult life. That's why I tell people a lot of times they should have kids early. I spent a lot of my adult life focusing on making sure that I did what I needed to do for my daughter. And so, I focused a lot of my energy on making sure that I was available, making the sacrifice for everybody else. Men, we really don't get the credit that we deserve. Let me just say that out loud. Men don't get the credit that they deserve. We sacrifice so much of our lives. And for so many men that I speak with, a lot of what they say is women never stop. The women in their life become more entitled and they never stop telling a man what they need to be fulfilled or what they need for them to do to continue to make sure that the relationship stays good. That's the question that I want to ask you guys today because I ran into a woman. I got out really early this morning, and so I woke up at about 5:30 because Sundays I don't have to live stream, but I woke up at about 5:30 and I did some work and then I got out into the streets and I went to my favorite breakfast place. So I'm working on my computer and I'm having breakfast and a couple introduced themselves to me. And actually, it was the guy that recognized me, but he was with his girl. I don't think she was his wife, but he was with his girl. And she was a little bit older of a woman. She was probably in her mid to late 40s. And, he was explaining to her, oh, this is Anton Daniels. I love his stuff. But they always like to preface it but you just going to have to hear him out. Hear him out when you listen to him. And then the woman says this every single time. Every single time the woman says this, y'all, they say, oh, okay. I can't wait to listen to him. But one thing about it is, I hope he's nothing like Kevin Samuels. I cannot tell you how many times that a man has introduced me to a woman and he's trying to tiptoe around explaining to her how I communicate, what my communication style is, and the type of content that I put out. I realized today two things. The first thing that I realized is that there are a lot of men that are under duress in relationships. They're holding on for dear life to their relationship while trying to teach an old dog new tricks. They are holding on for dear life while trying to teach an old dog new tricks. And it don't matter how old they are. They could be 25, they could be 40, they could be 50, they could be 60. Men, the reason why a lot of these guys rock with me, come on, fellas. I know some of y'all that I met this morning. Y'all listening to me. I'm going to communicate to you, through you, to your wife, to your girlfriend, to the chick that's your baby mama, to the woman that you're trying to get on board. There are so many of you guys that for your entire lives, for your entire relationship, for the entirety of the age of whatever your oldest child is, you've been enduring because that woman just refused for everything that they've ever been involved in. Get on board. I get it. There's a lot of you guys from a political perspective. You don't want to leave the Democrat plantation, not because you don't see the light, but because you can't get close enough to it without that woman that you're sitting next to snatching you by your collar and bringing you on back to the plantation. No, you don't leave this plantation. Massa, love us over here. I don't want you to become conservative Republican, even though we live our lives conservative. Well, do you not? You want to pay more taxes, or you want to? Oh no, I want to lower my taxes. You want better jobs and no, yeah, I want better jobs and better school. You want smaller government? Absolutely. The government is too big as it is. They taking too much of our taxes. You like illegal migrants over here? No, heck no. They need to get from over here. You believe in men and women's sports? Absolutely not. It disgusts me. So you a Republican? No, no. I'm a Democrat. And my husband is a Democrat too. I'm telling you, I hear it every single day. So you believe in diversity, equity, and inclusion? No, because I had to work my way up to the top. I got my money out the mud. So why are you a Democrat? Because we black. Because we black. And so and then I look over at the guy and he be like this. So I realize that a lot of y'all are living vicariously through me because even though you can't say it in your community, even though you can't speak it in your household, even though you have to be quiet on your jobs, you get it. You get it. It's just hard to teach an old dog new tricks. Hard to teach an old dog new tricks. And so this black woman, she was very nice. And I'll tell you, we were having a conversation. I was on my way out of the restaurant, stopped by to shake his hand, shake her hand, and then we wind up talking for about 20 minutes. And one of the things I realize is that women only want to hear you when you say it a certain way to them. And even then, they want you to feel like it's right. Even when you give a woman some insight, you got to give it to her and help her to think, make her think that it was her idea that she came up with. So you got to hit her with words like, yeah, so you get it. Oh, you was already thinking that. I just so happen to be the one to bring it out of you. You got to say stuff like that. We tired. We tired. We tired. We're very tired. We're tired. And I told her at the end of the conversation, I said, listen, think about it like this. And I'm very cool in person. Like, I'm gonna give you the energy that you give me back. So she was a very nice woman, and so I was very nice back to her. And so I just broke it down like this. I said, think about it like this, man. I said, we're freer than we ever have been in our entire life. She said, that's true. I said, we don't have anything preventing us or holding us back. Absolutely. I said, you worked very hard. I worked very hard. I'm about to go into the studio right now. She said, yeah, yeah, yeah. I said, with us as a culture, as a society, being freer than we ever have before, having the freedom to choose for ourselves, we're worse off than we ever been. Why is that? Stomped her. She had no words. I said, we were better off when we faced real racism, when everything was segregated, when we wasn't able to. I said, when we didn't have no options, all we had was each other. Nobody was able to divest themselves against their family. Nobody was able to break up their household. Nobody was able to leave. We stuck together. We made it work. We put things together when we had nothing. Our ingenuity, all of those things. I said, the freer we got, the more we got women doing what they want to do when they want to do it, the worse off it's ever been. I said, you'd be hard pressed to find a woman above the age of 30 years old that do not already have a child and multiple different baby daddies. That's true. That's true. Then she says this, you say it a little bit different than Kev. I don't even tell him that we was friends. I don't even tell him that I spoke at his funeral no more. I don't even say nothing. I just keep it moving. The math just ain't mathing. It's not mathing. I may say things that you feel is controversial, but it's just that you just been so programmed to be PC, politically correct, that it sounds like I'm saying something crazy. I'm not saying anything different than what they said in the 90s. Liberals, men, women, I'm not saying anything different than what they said in the 80s and they said in the 70s, that they said in the 60s. It just sounds so groundbreaking because it's just so crazy that we would think that we had gender roles or that we needed to go to school and get ourselves together or that we need to keep our families together. Or maybe women don't need to be doing some of the same jobs as men, but they need to be barefoot and pregnant. Is that crazy that I believe that women need to be barefoot and pregnant? Is that so insane that women need to be barefoot? What's wrong with being? Y'all like putting on big shoes and big steel toe boots? You like steel toes? You don't like to be barefoot? You don't like kids no more? I seen women against women having kids. I see women against women having kids. It's crazy. It's crazy. You don't like traditional roles. You want to do what you want to do when you want to do it. And then when we say, okay, well, cool, you go and do what you want to do, you just lose our protection. Oh my God, I can't believe y'all don't protect women no more. Well, you not a woman, you a man. You not a woman, you me. You don't even believe in gender role. You say everything is fluent. You pansexual. You attracted to energy now. You didn't even know that energy was attractive. You just like me. You Simone Biles. Nah, I ain't gonna go there yet. I'll get there shortly. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. We got a heck of a show. We got a heck of a show today, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So, first thing that I want to do is I want to acknowledge the people that always support the platform. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. That's where the bag chasers reside. When you tap into the Patreon, all right, I need y'all to understand that the link to the Discord is in the recent description of any of the most recent videos. Okay. So that's an extension of it where we have continuous conversations about things, and there's different threads inside of the Discord. If you're not familiar with it, try it out. You'll get to know it. But we continue the conversations with our friends and family over in the Discord. That link is in the description. A video of the most recent videos inside of the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Thank you, Mike, that dude, for holding me down on Cash App. I appreciate you, big dog. Victor Williams says, good morning. Shout out to me. Shout out to you, Vic. I appreciate you, big dog. Melkor says, baby mama is the most disgusting term have ever heard. And what is up with blacks calling their girls bro. Seriously, I'm just asking. I don't know. That's just the way that they came up with it. Same way that you said asking instead of saying asking. Asking. It's the same thing, Mel. I guess we all got to change the way we communicate. P. Shank says, "Good morning, Anton. Will you give me a girl? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear P. Shank. Happy birthday to you." Shout out to my girl P. Shank. Happy birthday, and I hope you have a blessed birthday. Jerry says, "Can't wait to see y'all at the meetup." Facts. Can't wait to see my Jerry. Giovanni says, "What up, though? I appreciate you for the super chat, Giovanni." Enos Luby in the building. Room 9 says, "News. Simone Biles supports men and women's sports." Yes, we are going to address it. I promise you. We're going to slow cook today. I'm going to get y'all through y'all shift. Anybody that's at work, anybody working from home, anybody that's out here in these streets, I'm going to get you through your shift today, all right? Almost 3,000 watching, barely 500 likes. Hit the like button and get the engagement up. Stop being the ninja watchers. I don't even care about that no more. I don't even mention. Notice how I don't even mention it no more? I think that people going to do whatever they're going to do, Dion says, "Good brother, if you need a DJ for your June 28th event in DC, I got you, bro. My contacts are in the bio." I appreciate it. Nope. This is what we doing. We just pulling up. The same way we do to every other meetup. We pulling up. We going on the rooftop. We going to have a good time, and we going to take over the entire city in June, at the end of June. Ray Black says, "I moved out of my folks' house into a duplex, living in a one unit and renting the other. I work remotely as an IT engineer and been planning since 2021. Killing it. That sounds like a winning plan." Jamaica says, "Wagwan King, much love. When is the next stock club?" Well, we got AI, right? So we doing a live stream on AI. Next stock club is next week. All right. This week is AI. Stock club is next week. All right. And then I updated the Patreon with the exact location of where the meetup is at this morning for anybody that needs to get a hotel or is traveling from out of town. So stock club next week. We going into AI. I don't want to say exactly what we going to talk about on AI because man, I've been testing some stuff. I don't want to show y'all some stuff. I really want to show y'all some stuff. And I want to tell y'all what the new jobs are going to be. Yep, I'm going to tell y'all what the new jobs are going to be. All right? All right, y'all. So a little bit of housekeeping. Again, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. I invite people who have differences of opinion to share their opinion inside of the chat. The chat is my co-host for today. Somebody said where to meet up. If you're not a part of the Patreon, don't ask where the meetup is, bro. All right. Chat is my co-host for today. I give priority and I acknowledge the contents, the comments where people have profile pictures above the people that don't. So you gonna really have to stand out if you don't have a profile picture. In addition to that, just be respectful towards other people in the chat and me. Don't talk about anybody's family and just keep it G. Have differences of opinion. We can debate. We can go back and forth. I don't believe in censoring anybody, but I shouldn't have to tell you how to act and how to conduct yourself. All right. All right, y'all. Y'all ready to get started with the show? Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's go here. So before we get into the Los Angeles riots, before we get into Simone Biles, before we get into AI, because we're going to cover a bevy of different topics today. All right. I got 7 different topics that I want to cover with you guys. So much information that was given to me. So many different things that I came across over the weekend. Before we get into that, I know that people have kind of fell out of love because it's not the most recent news as far as the Diddy trial. When a trial first commenced, everybody was running, everybody was in the courtrooms and stuff like that. Now, of course it dies off like every other piece of news. And I tell people all the time, listen, if you're in trouble, if they're talking about you on the internet, if people decide that they want to say negative things about you, give it a week. It'll be gone tomorrow. As soon as we get somebody else, Simone Biles going to say something. Somebody's baby mama is gonna throw their clothes out. It's gonna be something, all right? But I found this to be very, very interesting. Very interesting because, and let me share this with you. This woman who is currently testifying against Diddy, they're calling her Jane Doe. All right, I'm gonna give you the cliff notes. Let me give you the cliff notes. So essentially, she's on talking about her relationship with Diddy. Says that she's been in a relationship with Diddy for years. And when they got into a relationship, he wanted to do freak offs and stuff. That's nothing new for Diddy. We familiar with that. Cool. Not a big deal. All right. And she said that she was kind of selfish over him. Now, let me also include in this that she's a baby mama. All right. Baby mamas matter too. But the reason that I'm adding this in is not just to say that she's a baby mama. I'm saying this because she said that she was getting over $7,000 a month in child support. Let me say that again. From another guy before she even got with Diddy, she was getting over $7,000 a month in child support, which tells me that what? She was dealing with men of means. She don't have any real skill set. Her job is just to jump from man to man. We call it monkey branching, jumping from man to man, getting pregnant, coming up, and then looking for a man to take care of them. Which, listen, if that's your game, do what you do. It's always going to be a simp. It's always going to be somebody out here to do that for you. I just so happen to not be the one. But she was already getting $7,000 a month in child support. And her baby daddy was like, yo, I don't really like Diddy like that, but I'm going to keep paying his child support. And so she became selfish over Diddy because during the freak offs, she wasn't really into the whole. She did it. Don't get me wrong. She did it, but she just wasn't really into getting buzzed down by other men while watching Diddy, do his thing on the side and all of that stuff. It was a little too freaky for her, but she entered into a love contract with him. He said, listen, I'll make sure I take care of you. She moved into a house over there on the West Coast and they had no furniture in it. She was in there with a air mattress. He said, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. And then in the love contract, he was paying $10,000 a month in rent. But here's the catch. Let me share a little bit of this article and then we're going to get into it. All right. Bought his ex-girlfriend new teeth. Got her grill fixed. And is still paying rent for her home as a part of the love contract she made with the music mogul while she's testifying against him as Jane Doe in the trial. The jury heard that Diddy asked her what she wanted as a monthly allowance, and when she asked for $15,000, he countered with $10,000, which she agreed to. She said she used the first payment to move into the home that she's still in, and that he still covers her monthly rent. He paid $15,000 for the furniture to fill the apartment. The allowance was made her feel like there was some sort of balance in our relationship because she was always loving to him. And for once, this was him giving me some love in return. This is what she said to the court. She said that Diddy paid for her to get her new teeth. In early April 2023, Diddy texted him that he hadn't seen her in a while with the company of male escorts, prompting Diddy to note his recent purchases and said, we'll get over it. Well, get over it, please. Look at that roof over your head and that pretty smile. So basically, everything was transactional. He was paying $10,000 a month, and in addition to that, he was making sure that she was getting taken care of. Now, here's the thing. I always know that guys like the trick. I always know that, women say, guys say that's tricking. It ain't tricking if you got it or whatever, so on and so forth. That's not what the problem is. The defense questioned her And then they said, well, listen, okay, so cool. This is what y'all was doing. This is what y'all was into. It's nothing that you really saying that leads us to believe that he's a part of a RICO case or that he's sex trafficking. Cool. But what we trying to understand is why are you testifying against him? And then they asked her some additional questions. Check it out, y'all. They asked her, they said, okay, so wait a minute. You're here testifying against Diddy. She said, yes. They said, well, who is paying for the place that you're still staying in? Because if he here fighting for his life and he's trying to, gain his freedom and you guys are no longer together, who's paying for this place that you're still in? You know what she said? Diddy. She said Diddy is so generous and so nice to her that he still pays for the place that she's right now with him in jail, with him in prison. He's still instructing his staff to take care of the people that are on his staff, including her. He's still paying for her place. And this woman is testifying against him in court. Now, it's so many different things that we can make out of this. Ain't it foul, Azriel? I said the same thing. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. It's insane, ain't it, K God? Insane. I couldn't believe it. So you're testifying against the person that is still paying your bills. Renee, are we on the same page today or no, baby? You don't think that that's diabolical? You don't think that is very, very, very disloyal, insane, crazy to testify against the person that is taking care of your expenses, even though they're fighting for their life and she don't have no job? She ain't went got no job. She ain't went got no skill set. She is living off of Diddy while at the same time testifying against him. This is why this testimony during this trial is why I do not trust anybody. Anybody can turn on you. Anybody can turn on you. Anybody can turn on you. I'm not happy about it. Anybody can turn on you. Real talk. If somebody was taking care of me, which that I just can't even fathom it. But if somebody put me on and all of that, you think I would just be out here talking negatively about them on a trial on the stand? That's why you can't just rock out with a pretty face and a smile. Y'all always keep talking about how bad these chicks is. I don't want to hear another man talk about how bad a chick is. I want to know how loyal she is. I want to know how loyal she is. I want to know how down for you she is. I don't care nothing about that no more. And then y'all wonder why men be so bothered, why they so scared to get married. It's not that they scared to get married. They scared of getting divorced. They scared of getting finessed. They don't trust no more. They don't trust no more. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. When I read this, I said, this is insane. I couldn't believe it. Mm, 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 mm. Oh my God. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. But again, I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say the unpopular thing. I know it's not what y'all want to hear, but I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. Not one person that has testified during this trial is said that they got drug in there, that they had got taken against their will, that they ever said no. They may have said they've been uncomfortable. They may have said a lot of things, but not one person, including this woman, has ever said that he made them do something against their will. And I may not agree with his lifestyle. I may not agree with the fact that he's extra freaky. I certainly don't believe in cuckolding. But I do not believe convicting people based off of the court of public opinion. And these charges that they got against this man, maybe they need to get a domestic violence charge. Maybe they need to get a whatever. It's a lot of different things that you can come up with. But what they're charging him with, I disagree with it. I disagree with it. Willful participants, absolutely. They wanted the money, they want the lifestyle, they wanted the clout, they wanted the association, they wanted all of it. They wanted all of it. And you know what the funniest part about this whole situation is? They asked her what was she concerned about or why she was so aggravated. And she was mad because she said that Diddy was spending a disproportionate amount of money on Young Miami, and she didn't even need the money, but he was only giving her $10,000 allowance, housing allowance. And she felt like she deserved more. She said she was angry with him because he was giving Young Miami more money on a monthly basis for what her living expenses is versus what her housing allowance was, and she was upset about that. Free my dog Diddy. I stand on that. I know y'all don't like that I just said that. I'm pretty sure that the next restaurant that I go into is going to be some women that's giving me the third degree about how Diddy don't need to be free. Cool, cool, cool. I feel you. I feel a little bit differently. I say free Diddy. I say free Diddy. Diddy needs. Diddy needs to be free. I don't believe that he's done the things that they're trying to charge him with. Uh, I stand back on the thing that Myron Gaines told me when he was in the courtroom, and he was saying that our federal agencies often at times have been incentivized to go after bigger people because headlines is the thing that get them their budget. Um, and everybody that was there was a willful participant. Everybody that was there was willfully participant. So I stand on that. I say free Diddy. I don't think that he deserves to go to jail for the rest of his life. I don't think that any of these people that's filing a lawsuit deserves to get any lawsuit money. And if they want to charge them with domestic violence or something like that. But no, I'm not going for it. I'm not going for it at all. Anyways, make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. One more thing before we get into the LA riots, and let me read some of these super chats first. Somebody said thumbs down for that Anton. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care even a little bit. I don't care if you give me a thumbs up. I don't care if you give me a thumbs down. I never asked for a thumb anyway. Never asked for a thumb anyway. I don't care. I said what I said, and I'm not going to say the thing that's politically correct just because that's what you want to hear. It's dangerous. I don't convict people in a court of public opinion. I go based off of the witnesses, the evidence that they present against him, and none of these people have given any insight into, it has given any reason for me to believe he's guilty of what they're accusing him of. I don't care. at all. I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to tell the truth. I don't believe you can just lock somebody up for the rest of their life for how you feel about them. God bless you for having your own thoughts. So I'm going to let you stand with all of these women that's trying to get paid, and I'm not rocking with it. They call me Mr. Bibb, says, good morning, Detroit bag chasers. What up to my Detroit brethren in the building and everybody across all of the world, including the United States of America. Matthew Young says, y'all think because y'all paying for it, you can do whatever, then y'all end up in a prison cell and wonder why. Bruh, it's people that ended up in the prison cell that never did nothing, that got falsely accused, and they getting proven to be falsely accused by the Innocence Project because we've just had the technology to be able to free them. So if that's the way that you're substantiating your argument, you know what? I'm very disgusted in our men today. I'm very disgusted with our men today. Aaron L. says, at a salsa club with 8 friends years ago, this dude wanted to dance with my friend. She wouldn't dance with him, but he bought 3 rounds of drinks for us. And y'all drunk another man's drinks, didn't y'all? 392Q says she is going to ruin her bag. Matthew Young says, you thought that money was going to buy you what you want? Wake up. Jason Green says, good morning, AD. I'm in IT and I trust my firewall to keep it 100. Aaron L. says, willfully participation, yes, but he hired prostitutes across state lines, had employees distributing bribe in a hotel. That's racketeer. It's not. And I know that you would love to see another guy go down because it's like more for you, right? It's more for you. Anyways, again, make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. One more thing, we got to call out these crooked police officers, sheriffs, and cops. And the same way that we advocate for the good ones, we got to hold the bad ones accountable. I thought that this story was pretty interesting that hit my feed. I'm sure some of you guys seen it over the weekend, but I wanted to add my thoughts and my opinions on it because I didn't even cover it in a video separate on the Anton Daniels channel. Check this out, y'all.
Our next one takes us to the southeast, the Sunshine State of Florida, Osceola County in particular. Take a look at this video. All right, this is what we're seeing right now. Marcos Lopez, the suspended sheriff of Osceola County, he made his first court appearance via Zoom from jail this morning on felony racketeering charges. You're watching this video right now. Lopez was taken into custody yesterday in his uniform. Look at that. So now for more on what he's charged with, we're going to bring into the conversation our friend and colleague there at Fox 35 Orlando, reporter Marie Edinger. She joins me. Marie, so good of you to be with us here. I would say this was quite shocking. We've covered a lot of arrests in a lot of places, but not many for law enforcement in particular. What's going on?
Sure. So the sheriff, as you mentioned, has charges for racketeering, also conspiracy to commit racketeering. Those are both first-degree felonies. Each could come with up to 30 years in prison. The Department of Homeland Security actually led this investigation. It's the Attorney General for the state of Florida who is leading the charges, though. The investigation stems around an illegal gambling house that the sheriff is accused of essentially running. So he is accused of having a number of slot machines there, of running a lottery out of it. This is all taking place in Kissimmee, which is in his district. But the investigators say that it also spanned into Lake County. That's where he is in jail right now. The investigators also say that he used his position as sheriff in order to further the gambling station's profits and to obstruct an investigation. There's actually some mention made by prosecutors today about him showing up at or during an investigation while deputies were there at the gambling house and interfering. So those are allegations they're making as well. Today, he pleaded not guilty. That just came down maybe 20 minutes ago through the court system. He was given a $1 million bail, $500,000 for each of those. I talked with a criminal defense attorney who told me today that in order to post that bail, he'd have to give a bail bondsman $100,000, and he'd have to cover $900,000 in collateral to cover the $1 million total for the bond. The judge said today that in order to post bail or to post bond, that he would have to prove to the court that none of the money that he is posting came from anything having to do with illicit activity. So he has to have a court date first in order to prove that, or to prove that to the state. So he could be here for quite a while.
He could forget it. That's it. He could forget it. because there's no way that you can. I mean, I guess you can prove, and you can just say, "Hey, listen, this is what I've been doing," or because I've had this position for a long time, I've been able to stack up my bread and stuff. But he could forget it. He could absolutely forget it, because in order for him to post bail, that means that he'd have to actually show legal receipts, maybe of his paycheck stacking up over time, maybe from his mouth. I mean, I guess he could technically go and find somebody to post a bail. Well, I guess not if the judge is requiring them. He can find somebody to put up their house or something like that. I don't know, but he can forget it. He gonna be in jail. He gonna be in jail. Usually, when somebody says you got to post bond, you got to post 10%. You got to post 10% of whatever the bond requirement is. So if they say that your bond is $1 million, you got to post 100,000. If they say your bond is 1,000, you got to post 100. If your bond is 10,000, you got to post $1,000. So that's usually how it works. But they're accusing him of running an illegal, all right, illegal gaming, and they're saying that they made upwards of over $21 million.
The man who, up until yesterday, served as the sheriff of Osceola County, today appeared before a judge wearing jailhouse orange.
How do I start the bond process?
The judge set Sheriff Marcos Lopez's bond at $1 million. A criminal defense attorney told me today he was shocked by that.
I just can't, bro. I'm just not built to be a criminal. I'm not built for suffering and all of that other stuff. I'm not built to go to jail and be dealing with people. And he gonna get treated like Pete real trash, considering that he's a sheriff and he's the top sheriff in that particular county and stuff. I just can't, bro. I'm not built for it. It's not worth it. And here's the thing that I'm always trying to figure out when these people get convicted or something happens or they get arrested and all of this stuff. Because they're saying that he allegedly had been doing this for years. So my question always becomes, when were you going to stop? Because that's how most people get caught, right? Most people get caught because they don't know when to stop. They don't have no end date. They don't have no number. And I don't care if you're a dope dealer. I don't care if you run in an illegal gambling ring. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you're stealing from work. All right? It's a lot of people that work at Home Depot overnight and you've been stealing for a long time. It's a whole lot of people that's in charge of the accounting department and they just been stealing for a long, and they just never stop. They never stop. They stay in it to win it for the rest of their life. They never stop. And that's what I'm trying to understand. Like, okay, so you had the ring, and they say that you made upwards of $21 million. What's the end date? Like, how much is enough? You know what? We got this money, we done. I never hear a criminal say, you know what? I'm done after this. Even as a business owner, we have a stop date. As a business owner, and I ain't talking about the business itself, I'm talking about for those of us that's smart enough to understand that you shouldn't quit your regular job until your business is sustaining your lifestyle, okay? Until it over provides and there's an overabundance and you can no longer get this bag no more. I'm like, once I hit a certain number in net worth, or once I hit a certain number in my investment, or once I got stable in my business or whatever, it's like, okay, you know what? This is my end date, and this is when I'm going in, and then I'm done after that. I'm always wondering why criminals never stop.
You feel it's excessive.
Is not meant to punish someone. The amount of a bond is to make sure that someone does not, it's not a flight risk.
Prosecutors argued the nature and circumstances of the case justify the bond, and the judge agreed. The state claims they have texts, WhatsApp messages, wire transfers, and more, proving the sheriff earned $600,000 to $700,000 in this alleged criminal enterprise. And they say they have photos that don't just show he was at the gambling house, but that he used his position as the sheriff to obstruct a criminal investigation there.
An extreme breach of public trust. The circumstances surrounding his misuse of office as the sheriff of Osceola County are very serious.
2 of the 4 co-defendants also had their first appearances today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The minute that you start, he went diversity, equity, and inclusion. Oh, yeah. He had to know that he was about to get caught. You got a chick that got an extra large forehead, the white woman, and the chick that got the edge thief got to her braids, the black woman. You going down, buddy. You're going down. You're going down. Nobody is taking any charges. Everybody is selling.
Carol Cote was up first.
I have 3 young, small children.
She was given a $100,000 bond. She's already posted that and been released. Next up,
Sharon Denise Fedrick.
Sharon Fedrick's criminal history is messy. She has tons of charges and a few convictions for things like identity theft, grand theft, organized fraud, and that's not all.
8 felony grand thefts in Lee County from 1993. She also has federal history.
She did 2 years in federal prison for lying to the IRS back in 2005. She's been in and out of jail in Orange County since 2016. She was just arrested again 2 months ago for 3 active warrants out of Orange County. You want to guess where deputies caught her? The Eclipse, the gambling house at the center of this investigation.
Miss Fedrick remains in custody in Lake County. Well, that makes it difficult for her to appear in Orange County. So there's a fair logistical problem there.
The judge didn't buy that argument. Fedrick got a $300,000 bail. The judge said today that if Sheriff Lopez is able to bond out, he would have to wear an ankle monitor. He'd have to turn over his passport. He would have to turn over his guns as well and would not be allowed any contact with any of the 4 co-defendants. As I mentioned, 2 appeared in court today, but 2 have not yet been booked into the Lake County Jail, so we're still awaiting that. I'll also mention that the Attorney General's office says there could be more charges or more people charged. This investigation is still ongoing. Andrew?
Marie, just one question for you. Who's in charge in Osceola County right now? Who's the top cop?
Yeah, so the governor appointed somebody who was a head for the Florida Highway Patrol in this area to take over in the interim. There would be a special election, but that wouldn't be until the next 2026 election as scheduled.
All right, Marie Edinger there, live for us with Fox 35 Orlando. Marie, thanks for bringing us this important story. We'll talk soon. Have a good weekend.
Sure thing, you too.
Okay, in the meantime, though, checking in with yet another one of our colleagues at Fox 35 Orlando, reporter Randy Hildreth. She's monitoring the reaction there from the community to this arrest. Let's listen.
Most of the community
Friday
already
looked
knew.
like a regular day at the Osceola County Sheriff's Office, with citizens coming and
Community
going.
knew.
Coming here to pick up a police report. Phone was taken from me and I need to get it back.
But it wasn't a regular day. The man that once led deputies here faced a judge this morning on his felony racketeering charges. Marcos Lopez is suspended and off the job as sheriff as his case plays out.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I would never think a cop would do that.
People told Fox 35 they still believe in the overall integrity of the sheriff's office and hope no other staff are roped into the allegations.
Oh, they are.
A massive agency, hundreds if not thousands of employees, and this one guy.
Governor Ron DeSantis named Christopher Blackman as the interim Osceola County Sheriff shortly after Lopez was arrested. Blackman is a 35-year law enforcement veteran and was serving as the Central Region Chief for the Florida Highway Patrol. People are happy new leadership was put in place quickly.
The fact that they're replacing him this quickly is a good thing. He's gone in a day. Pretty impressive, in my opinion.
We reached out to the sheriff's office to find out if there have been any internal leadership changes since Lopez's arrest. Still waiting to hear back.
It's stupid. It's so dumb.
And that was
why even put yourself in that position? Greed, y'all. It's greed. Greed is the thing that will be your downfall every single time. Greed is the thing that will take you down every single time. Sometimes it's just not even worth it to get yourself involved in it. I think that he needs to face prosecution. I don't like when we see crooked cops or crooked sheriffs, because if you crooked on one thing, who's to say what you wouldn't be crooked on in order to protect yourself or in order to enrich yourself on another thing? If you're crooked on one side, then you're going to probably be crooked on something else. It's a strong possibility that whatever it is that he was into, that's just the least of what he got himself into. That's the only thing that he got caught. That's the least of what he was into. That's the thing that he got caught for. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we gonna go from there. Matthew Young says, let me change my energy over here. What we got? Let's go orange, green. Let's go like that. Those people defended by the Innocent Project aren't Diddy. Oh, so it's only if it's Diddy. There's plenty of people that are locked up. And it's not just the people that are defended by the Innocence Project. It's people that's falsely accused and locked up. And they were convicted based off of the court of public opinion. You're trying to make that equivalence. You trying to make that equivalence is false. Nope, it's not false. It's not false. Diddy just so happened to be the one that they're using to get additional funding so that they can get a good conviction. Mr. Marcus says, let's talk about the unbelievable restraint cops are showing in LA versus if that was us. Oh, you want to make it a black thing. All right, we'll talk about it. Sure. You want to make it a black thing. Get your money and get out the game. Facts, Mr. Lot. I agree. Carell says, do you recommend investing in the healthcare sector? Can you give me your opinion on why it may or may not be a good idea? I think that the healthcare sector is notoriously volatile. So it depends on what you're talking about from the healthcare sector. Are you talking about investing in hospitals, a hospital network? Are you talking about investing in pharmaceutical companies? Are you talking about investing in medical equipment? Are you talking about investing in, because there's so many different sectors of healthcare that you can invest in. Are you talking about investing in a specific company that distributes certain medicines? There's a breakthrough in research and development for a company that they think is something that's going to come online. What part of healthcare? I say stay away from healthcare companies. The research and development for pharmaceutical companies is high, is very, very high. You don't know what's going to happen when it comes to different countries requiring for them to manufacture stuff in that country that they're selling it in. I also think that hospital networks are very volatile. You see a lot of merging. I see a lot of Catholic systems now trying to raise funds. They have a lot of debt. I say stay completely out of the healthcare sector. It's too volatile. It's unpredictable. It is very, 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 very unpredictable. Stay away from the healthcare sector from an investment perspective. All right, Carell. Matt says, shout out to Sheriff Grady. Yeah, Sheriff Grady is a good one. I like Sheriff Grady. If it wasn't Diddy, you wouldn't be saying give him 100 years. You would be saying give him 100 years, which he is going to get. Well, Matthew, you must be new here. You must be new here. And the reason that I know you new here, you got to be new here, is because I always say that I don't believe anything anybody says unless they prove it otherwise. I have been consistent in support of Tory Lanez. I have been consistent in saying that I don't believe that Diddy is guilty of the things that they saying that he's guilty of. I've supported numerous people and numerous men when it came to the charges and the accusations that's been levied against them with no evidence to show otherwise. As a matter of fact, I'll do you one better, Matthew. As a person that is against the culture and black culture as far as it being toxic and the things that we celebrate the most, I will tell you, and anybody in this chat will tell you, I don't agree with the way that Young Thug and all of them was doing some of the stuff that they was doing. But I also don't agree with the way that they handled the case. The prosecution was dirty. The judge was dirty. They was having different silent meetings in between and all of this stuff. And one thing that I said, even though I disagree with the lifestyle, is that I said that they needed to free him. I rock with Gunna. I think that Gunna played it great. And he the one that took a plea deal. He got out of jail and he a better artist than Young Thug, in my opinion. But I absolutely said that I believe in our justice system. It needs to be updated. It needs to be reformed. It needs to be celebrated, even though it's not perfect. And I said that they needed to release Young Thug. I'm always amazed when people come in here and tell me what I think, when I say what I think on a regular basis. You only get one shot to live this life, and to have your freedom taken away based off of an accusation alone is crazy to me. to have your freedom, especially from sideline observers, saying that it should be taken away based off of the court of public opinion alone and no real evidence to substantiate their argument is crazy to me. I will never say the thing that you feel like I should say. I'm going to say the thing that I believe to be true. And I'm open to the possibility that I'm wrong. But you can never accuse me of being biased. Ever. Just based off of a name. Ever. Jason A-Team says, real question, have they even proved he trafficked? No, ain't nobody proved nothing. We know what trafficking was meant for. Trafficking was meant for people that were bringing other people inside of the United States of America to sell them for profit. Similar to the Liam Nielsen movie, Taken. That is what the true definition of trafficking was supposed to be as far as human trafficking. They expanded it to then lock up a bunch of people that was pimping girls out here on the streets. And so they was giving pimps football numbers. And now they're using it in combination with RICO to try to go after people because it's easy to be able to apply something that's a broad view that doesn't have any real definition to it anymore. So anybody can say anything. Oh, cross state lines, sound like trafficking to me. Man, get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here, bro. Stop. And so I hate when they then expand something so that they can use it broadly so they can try to either get a conviction or get a plea deal, when in reality, the true reason why they brought that whole idea behind human trafficking in the first place had nothing to do with just state lines. It had more to do with the crime itself, the nature of the crime itself. Let me see something really quickly. I want to say shout out to Christopher Donaldson, says, what up, AD? My son Camarian's B-Day is second beat it. Shout out to Camarian. Happy birthday, King. Happy birthday, young man. God bless you. I hope that you have a phenomenal day. Tory Lanez, who is currently convicted. Yeah, okay, he did it too. Oh, I see what kind of guy you are. You want to do this wild then wonder why y'all in a prison cell wake up. I see what kind of guy you are. I see. Thoughts on Canada? High prices, a lot more meth heads than I realized. But they got some cool beer, and I like the fact that they love hockey. But high taxes, a lot of meth heads, a lot of suffering. Very cold, but definitely looking forward to going to Toronto and doing a meetup. Shout out to Canada. I see what type of guy you are. I see what kind of guy you are. Okay. Now that I know what I'm dealing with. I get it. I feel you. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into this LA riots, y'all. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Trump had to recently send the National Guard over into Los Angeles.
Protests over immigration raids have led to arrests in both Los Angeles and San Francisco. Cars were set on fire, flashbangs and tear gas were used to disperse crowds. Parts of a major freeway were shut down. This morning marks the fourth day of protests. You're seeing some of those self-driving cars on.
Now, those are Waymo vehicles. And that's the danger of Waymo vehicles, is that because nobody is inside of them. Now, let's be clear. There was burning up vehicles that previously had people inside of them. They weren't autonomous vehicles. These are not peaceful protests, y'all. These are not peaceful protests. These are people that are here illegally. These are apologists. These are far-leaning left liberals. And they don't mind destroying property. These are not peaceful protests. I just want to make sure that we preface this conversation by saying that this is not peaceful. These people mean to do damage. They mean to do harm. And they are destroying the city altogether.
on fire. Right now, all of downtown LA has been declared an unlawful assembly area. President Trump called up the National Guard to protect federal personnel and property. It's the first time a president has done this without a state's request or consent in about 60 years.
Are you prepared to invoke the Insurrection Act?
Depends on whether or not there's an insurrection. No, but you have violent people, and we're not going to let them get away with it. I think that you're going to see some very strong law and order.
500 active duty Marines are also prepared to deploy. The entire National Guard situation is setting up a showdown.
I want y'all to also know that a lot of these people are paid protesters. So, all right, for those of y'all that just take things at surface value and don't do your research, or you're not familiar with the history of how certain things happen in the first place, these people often at times are not even from the areas that they're protesting in. They're brought in, they're paid protesters, they're paid people to incite violence. They are there to create a mob, to create a narrative, and they work on the behalf of millionaires and billionaires that has set up a fund for them to come in and protest. So I want y'all to also understand that all of these people that's out here, I don't believe those people that's sitting right there with that mask on and all of that stuff, I don't believe that every last one of those people are just people that are against immigrants from being deported from the United States of America, that had protected right status and, you know, they were criminals. And I don't believe that at all. A lot of these people are paid protesters to go out there and send a message and create a narrative and then incentivize you to burn down your own cities. And it's messed up because we're seeing this in Los Angeles.
With California's governor, he claims the president is putting fuel on the fire. The mayor of Los Angeles accused the president of being heavy-handed.
When you raid Home Depot and workplaces, when you tear parents and children apart, and when you run armored caravans through our streets, you cause fear and you cause panic.
For every single minute that we were here resisting against the Border Patrol, that was time that they were not out deporting people in our community.
But President Trump is urging LA's police chief to bring in the troops right now. Police say at least 27 people were arrested Sunday, most of those on the 101 freeway.
Look at these people standing on the freeway, y'all. Look at these people standing on the freeway. Now, I would have you to know that California Governor Gavin Newsom is silent on this. They're silent on this. Let me say that again. California Governor Gavin Newsom is silent while they destroy a city, destroy city property, destroy everything. They are silent on this. Karen Bass is an apologist, and she is instructing the police, the Los Angeles police officers, to do nothing, to try to disperse crowds, not to arrest anybody, not to help ICE agents and protect them, not to do anything. They are completely ordering basically the crowd to be able to do whatever it is that they want to do when they want to do it. And if you are a resident of California, let alone in the Los Angeles area, and all of the things that has been happening in downtown Los Angeles over the last month or so, including many people not even related to this whole illegal migrant situation, because they're not just destroying or protesting against ICE agents, even though they shouldn't. They are tearing up businesses. They are destroying cars. They are destroying autonomous vehicles. They absolutely torching the streets. They doing burnouts in the middle of the street, and they're doing it because they know that there's no real consequences associated with it unless the federal government decide that they want to get involved. And that's why Trump, even though he didn't have to, because he said, hey, the police chief, the mayor, and the governor need to let me know how many troops they need, because I'm ready to send in the National Guard to get some control of what's going on in Los Angeles. And guess what? None of them said anything. They're against the National Guard coming in and getting control. They would rather the entire city burn down.
Freeway that police shut down. They say protesters threw things onto the road and damaged police cars. Also overnight, a large crowd protested against ICE in San Francisco.
These people.
About 60 people were arrested there. Joining me now, CNN senior national security analyst Juliette Kayyem. Juliette, I want to start with some of the history here because you've pointed out that usually a president can federalize the National Guard, for instance, when a governor requests those resources. When a governor says, look, I'm overwhelmed. I think back to the LA riots, also Hurricane Katrina. Based on what you've observed, is that where we were?
Yes, I mean this is a big distinction of what Donald Trump did. There's a series of cases coming out of desegregation when a governor defied a Supreme Court order and the president federalized the National Guard to get children into the school. So that's a pool of those cases. More recently, instances where a governor has requested additional federal support in the form of federalized National Guard assets or troops.
Look at these people.
That has always been with the cooperation of the governor and the federal
Look at these
government.
people.
So Hurricane Katrina, you exactly noted, and the LA riots in the past, a Republican governor and a Democrat
This don't even look
mayor
like the United
Los
States
Angeles,
of America.
Both requested this from the president, and they were deployed. I want to say something clear, though. Simply because they're deployed doesn't mean it's been successful. I am in this field. The LA riots deployment of federalized National Guard was considered chaotic and not very successful.
Can you get into that more? We have heard this argument that it can, in some cases, actually we've heard from the governor, I think, can inflame or kind of further fuel backlash.
They have nothing to lean on, so they're trying to act like bringing in the National Guard to get some control is going to put fuel to the fire.
What are you seeing?
Yeah,
I told y'all to get out of Los Angeles a long time ago.
It's hard to determine what the White House is doing right now. The president and his team came on very strong on Saturday, using words like insurrection, I think getting people really hyped up about what was going to be happening. Then there was a delay, and now there's a couple hundred troops that are protecting federal buildings. That's an important mission. It could have been done with state National Guard. You didn't need to put them under the president or Secretary Hegseth. And the reason why you don't do that is because state National Guard work regularly with state police and local police for crowd control, games. The LA is going to be hosting the Olympics. Think of a marathon or a big event.
Ain't that crazy, y'all, that we got the 2026 Olympics going to be in Los Angeles. Los Angeles is operating on an annual deficit of over $1 billion. California is operating on an annual deficit. They can't even get control, but we're supposed to be having the Olympics in Los Angeles in 2026. We're supposed to be having the Olympics. I was looking forward to being there. Not as a spectator, but as a person that was covering what was going on in Los Angeles during the Olympics. It's crazy. It is crazy to think of what's happening over in Los Angeles at this time. I'm just amazed. I'm taken aback by how things are transpiring, and more importantly, how leadership is handling this.
We're seeing new videos showing the chaotic moments protesters and
the reason why I got to include CNN on these conversations, or MSNBC sometimes, is because we have to get the liberal view. We got to get it from both views. We can't just get it from the conservative view. We can't just get it from Fox News. We go with local news. We go with liberal news. We go with conservative news. We go with, Republican-led stations on all of that, and then we try to make sense of all of it. It doesn't mean that what they say we agree with, but we got to include every voice in these conversations.
Federal agents clashed across Los Angeles.
It marked the second day in a row of unrest as ICE raids continue. Explosive flashbangs and clouds of tear gas filled downtown LA last night as police declared an unlawful assembly. There also appears to be some looting at a convenience store in Compton. LAPD says they detained several people and eventually arrested 27.
And this comes as the National Guard troops that President Trump ordered have started to arrive.
Eyewitness News reporter Amanda Palacios joins us live from downtown Los Angeles with the breaking update. Amanda.
Good morning. Yeah, we've already seen a large growing National Guard presence here in downtown LA. If you take a look behind me here, you can see troops are stationed along Alameda Street as another protest is expected to take place later today near City Hall. This follows President Trump's deployment of 2,000 National Guard members in response to a series of immigration protests across the city. This is new video from overnight showing the troops arrive. They stopped at City Hall after driving through Paramount, then ended up here at the Federal Building. Meantime, this follows another night of protest. Video from last night shows tense moments in downtown LA as protesters clashed with police, some setting off fireworks and starting fires. Officers responded with what appeared to be tear gas to disperse the crowds. In a separate incident, demonstrators were seen entering a damaged convenience store in Compton and looting items from inside. According to the LAPD, multiple individuals who returned to the area after a dispersal order was issued on Alameda Street were detained and are expected to be booked for failure to disperse. We spoke with Mayor Bass about the deployment of the National Guard and believes it's not necessary.
My concern, and we have experienced civil unrest, and I remember
Look at all of the graffiti
very
out there.
well, that one of the worst things you can do is have an extreme presence of law enforcement that gets everybody agitated and the violence actually escalates.
And today's protest.
Nobody got no jobs. Nobody got nowhere to be. Nobody got no baby mamas. They don't have no events to go to. You telling me that they're just showing up in downtown Los Angeles and they just destroying everything and protesting? Some of the images that I had seen was just crazy. But that's all right. Starting in late July, early August, we're going to be on the road at least 3 weeks out of the 4 weeks every single month. And we're going to be everywhere where every piece of action is happening. It doesn't matter where it's happening in the United States of America. I don't care if it's in Hawaii or Alaska. We are going to be on the ground and we're going to be seeing what's happening. And we're going to be covering this for you guys because we're going to expand the coverage of what we got going on the channel. It's just insane. You know, the place that I've seen this or that I've read about this happening, and I keep on saying this and I keep on letting y'all know and y'all keep on acting like I don't know what I'm talking about or it's not going to be a real thing. For different reasons, the 67 riots in Detroit, the city did not start to recover from that until about 2014. The 67 riots in Detroit where people burned down their own buildings, they burned down their own businesses, they created an environment where nobody wanted to live or move here. Detroit literally was the Renaissance capital of the United States of America. I just recently went and viewed the Detroit train station that was refurbished and revamped, and they spent several years painstakingly restoring it to its original grand vision of what it was and what it used to be. And there was so many people walking through there and all of that stuff, right? And so much history. And I was observing and I was talking to the historian that, you know, we was talking about different things that we knew about Detroit, and he was giving me some insight on stuff that I'd never heard before. And he said at one point there was over 50,000 people a month. 50,000 people a month that was moving into Detroit back in the early 50s, 60s, and 70s. I couldn't believe it. He said it was the fastest growing. He said, you know, I forgot how often he said that. Every 3 minutes, there was a train leaving out in order for them to accommodate all of the people that was coming here. And it didn't take but one situation that already exacerbated something that wasn't supposed to be happening in the first place for it to just all go down. And I'm telling you, I see such a massive exodus of everything that's happening over in Los Angeles. It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know how y'all don't see this happening. To a larger extent, I see it happening over in Chicago. Chicago is one powder keg away from just completely going ham. I was talking to people that live in Chicago this weekend because a lot of them was here. Yep, I was out in the streets this weekend. A lot of Chicagoans was here. White people, black people, all of them was here because they was here for the Tigers game. And the Cubs and the Tigers are basically, they saying it's a possible preview for what could happen in the World Series. right? And so I was talking to a lot of them. I talked to a guy on the train. I said, hey, man, what's going on in Chicago? Oh, man, I can't believe it. We got a trash mayor. The Bears is going to be moving. They don't get it. It's this other large plot of land. This is what's going on in immigration. People are walking away. It's too expensive. They taking people's properties. People, they letting gangs run rampant, out of control. Police officers are dying. I said, is that all that was happening in Chicago? He said, yeah, man, it's bad. He said, we came, and this is the honest to God truth. He said, we came here and we like, wait a minute. I said, no. We didn't really know. We didn't realize it was like this here. I said, no. That's not what we doing. That's not what we doing. We only want the best of the best. We don't want the worst of the rest. Nah, the D is phenomenal. The D is phenomenal. And I'm not talking about what's in my pants. I'm talking about right here where my studio is. It's a reason why I won't move from this city. This city is booming. Population surplus 2 years in a row. Back on the map. Skyscrapers and cranes everywhere. People moving into the city. We popping. And we operating on a surplus. Year-over-year surplus. Police officers is chill. We cool. We got a mayor that's more focused on business and not on identity politics. Our mayor don't be in the news. The only thing he be in the news for is new announcements and new investments into the city. Nah, we rocking. I was all over the city this week. I was so impressed with so many changes. New neighborhoods. I seen a new big building that was being built this morning because I had to take a detour because the lodge was closed or the lodge was slow. So I had to take a detour. And I went down Myers. I went down Myers between 7 Mile and 8 Mile, and they building this new big old building. I said, what? Where did this come from? I was blown away. I was blown away. But anyways, make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel with turn on your notifications. Let me read a couple of the super chats, and then we're going to move over into the next part of the show. Matthew Young, our resident liberal. And Matthew, you know what's so beautiful about this? Matthew said, F Donald J. Trump. You know what's so beautiful? He don't say F Gavin Newsom, F Karen Bass and all of that. You know what's so awesome about this, Matthew? And I appreciate you. I'm going to read all your super chats in a group so I can make sure that I get them back to back to back. Matthew, we welcome differing opinions. I don't agree with you, but we welcome differing opinions so that you can get your stuff off. We don't censor people. We don't say, hey, block them and none of that stuff. I appreciate you. And you know, they rioting in LA and they ain't even got nothing to riot about. Y'all rioting about people that ain't even supposed to be here. Matt also says, Gavin isn't quiet. He called out Trump already. No. He's quiet about the riots and what he's going to do to stop people and quell the riots and stop the violence and get people out there in order to stop destroying businesses. But appreciate the super chat. Matthew Young also says, I live in Milwaukee. I go to Chicago multiple times a year. It's very nice. Hey, have y'all noticed how Matthew, who we appreciate, is literally saying the opposite of every single thing I say, no matter what the subject is, whether we talking about Diddy, Tory Lanez, riots in Los Angeles, what's happening in major cities and that they got a population exodus. Thank you, Matthew. I appreciate you. We're very tolerant. We're very, very tolerant of the left. We're very, very tolerant of people that believe that trans people need to be in women's sports. We're very tolerant of people that voted for Kamala Harris. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. Yeah, shout out to Matthew. Big Euro Short says, I've been to Toronto. It's a lot of Middle Eastern people there, and locals hate it. And some told me they wish they were more like America. I've never been in Toronto. I'm looking forward to going. Jason 18 with a couple super chats says, the people in LA are paid. Clearly, there are billionaire aggregators. Follow the money. Normal people don't do things like this. There is evil amongst us. Waving another country's flag is an invasion of me. I agree. And it wouldn't happen in another country. Grove Street for life. Big Smoke, where you at? Shout out to you. I appreciate you, Jason 18. Mr. Marcus says, Meanwhile, MLK Jr. getting sprayed with fire hoses and bit by dogs for asking Americans to be civil. Fight on, Mexican, fight on. That's what Mr. Marcus says. We're very tolerant of everybody's views over here. We don't necessarily agree with them, but we're tolerant. Get it off then. Derek's Life Event says, Trump need to cut off federal funds to California completely and no funding for wildfires because they won't fix the problem. Enforcer 2K9 says, everybody complains about white supremacy, but for all the people complaining, I've yet to see anybody else provide a better alternative than chaos. Hayes, shout out to Hayes, says, I got a super sticker for you. Thank you, Hayes. I appreciate you for the super sticker. Hit me with the big dog, $20. Mark the Guardian goes on to say that there's a lot of paid protesters. That's their job. Agreed. And my baby girl. Oh, yeah. I know. The baby mama, Ola Jefe says, and the Jane Doe is 50 Cent's baby mom. I heard that 50 Cent's baby mom, 50 can't pick him either. 50 cannot pick him. He cannot pick a chick that's loyal at all. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Shout out to my girl Mika. Y'all can catch her on the Red Cup podcast with Mika in the building. All right, y'all. Let's deep dive into it. I told y'all we had a lot to cover today. The FBI is investigating all of these protesters that are protesting over the ICE raids. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
Breaking news out of Los Angeles, where the FBI says it is investigating clashes between law enforcement and demonstrators. These clashes began Friday when crowds gathered around federal law enforcement officers carrying out immigration raids in that area. And today, right now, we're seeing police using tear gas and flashbangs to clear the crowds. California Assemblymember Jose Luis Salache, who witnessed what was unfolding there, is joining us now on the phone. Assemblyman, thank you so much for being here with us. I know you represent the area, Paramount, where we've been seeing some of this happen. Describe to us what you saw today.
Correct. I've been here since 9 a.m. when we first saw the agents drive up to my community. I was actually on the freeway with one of the vans from Border Patrol. And then I did a U-turn type of situation. I followed them, and they were here in my community. There were 7 agents waiting to open their fence. Throughout the morning, there's about 60 different vehicles that have driven in there. 25 of them plus are Border Patrol logo vehicles, and then about 30 plus vehicles were unmarked vehicles, SUVs. And right now, I'm here in with my community. There's about 60 Border Patrol agents. They're there with guns. They're there, they're having a staging process. Of course, community's out here strong, opposing these raids in our community in Los Angeles. I represent this district, and our community is strongly here opposing this.
And we're looking at live video while you're talking. I see a lot of smoke. There were some small fires, it looked like. In the distance from where we're looking at on this video, we can see people who appear to be gathered together, and we're seeing some sort of agents as well. We had a spokesperson from DHS saying that these protesters were in a sense violent, that's what they're trying to push back against. Has that been your experience?
There's definitely a variety of demonstrators. I have to be objective here, and there's some people that are, of course, are angry, they're passionate about why the agents are here. And you have a variety of folks that obviously are here peacefully, and there are people who are a little more aggressive, and that's just being objective. But of course, community is upset of why they're even here in our community.
Right.
And I represent a very high immigrant, high undocumented community in my district, which we're proud of the work that we all contribute to this country. These are not criminals. These are people that are hardworking people that are contributing. And of course, that's what people are angry about. You're going to come and take, you're doing raids and looking for people that are at their workplace, at contributing to this country, and they're not criminals. So that's what.
Why do people say somebody is not a criminal when they're literally being arrested for criminal activity? Most of the people that is criminal, or most of the people that are being arrested, have a criminal background. They have committed crimes inside of the United States of America. And obviously that is in addition to the fact that they came over here illegally. Why do everybody keep bypassing that? Why don't anybody acknowledge that? How come nobody is having that conversation and saying, I walked over here illegally. I wouldn't be able to do that anywhere else in the world. I'd be shot if I walked over into somebody else's country illegally. They literally patrol with guns, but y'all just trying to get us up out of here. And it's costing y'all additional monies. And we not supposed to be here, but we walked over here illegally. Some of us overstayed our visas. Some of us don't even speak English. And we've been over here for a long time. These people ain't innocent. You know what they do? A lot of them are getting paid under the table. I'm so tired of these liberals and these people that are pacifiers of other communities that's not contributing into the American culture. They don't even learn the language. You can't even go to certain places. Go down there to Miami and go over to some of the places in Los Angeles and try to speak regular English. No hablo English. They working under the table. They skirting the taxes. And then the money that they get, you know what a lot of them do? They send it back home. They don't even circulate it in the community. They send it back home to take care of family and have them living a better lifestyle back where they from. And then they walk over here with their flags. They waving a Mexican flag in the face of Americans. These people aren't persecuted. They criminals. And you know what the worst part about this is? I hate it. I can't stand it. It aggravates me to my bone. I see y'all talking this nonsense, especially to you apologists. Shout out to all of now that's a real sellout black person. These are real sellout black people that stand with illegal migrants because they keep on trying to compare it to slavery. Now, I don't believe, and I absolutely believe that we need to stop running in the Victim Olympics. At some point, we got to take ownership and responsibility because nobody is enslaving you today. I get it. Your ancestors, all of this other stuff. Absolutely. But stop. Stop comparing illegal migrants walking over here willingly to steal money and they are out here performing criminal activities. Stop comparing illegal migrants to black people that went through slavery. I'm so sick of y'all still on TikTok and on the internet saying, it's just, no, it's not. No, it's not. Birthright citizenship was never for you. It was for people whose ancestors was brought here against their will so that they then have citizenship or their children have citizenship inside of the United States of America and they weren't treated illegally. It was not for people that crossed over the border illegally and stealing taxpayer dollars. And then they got the nerve to be getting free health care over there in California, getting paid for by American citizens. Get the hell out of here. What did y'all think, that this was going to be sustainable for a long time? California, leave it up to liberals. California is the blueprint for what they want America to look like. And let me tell you something else why the Democrats is finessing. Census. It's all about census numbers. It's all about census numbers too. Well, Anton, how does that matter? Because when you do a census and based off of the population, whether it's documented, undocumented, when they can document the population and say, these are how many people in California, or these are how many people in Chicago, or these are how many people over here and over there, then they get more federal funding and they get more seats. They get more representation, even though they're not from here and they're not they get greater representation and more sway in our legislative branches when they can then document and say, hey, this is the population over here. That's why Chicago, one of the reasons why Chicago was so dedicated to trying to make sure that they get all of those people in Chicago. Man, look, it's the only way that Democrats can even remotely survive in a political landscape where people have woken up. It's the only way where they can survive in a political landscape where people have woken up. If you look at the map of this past election, it was red all across the board. The only places that were blue were liberal hellholes. The only places that were blue were liberal hellholes. You said people hating on me. I don't care. I'm not. You got it confused. There's look, I could fill a small theater with the amount of people that's watching right now. I didn't force nobody to come. People came on their own will. You know why? Because I'm the best show, the best morning show on the face of the earth. The best independent content creator on the face of the earth, bar none. Oh, we just getting started. We only at the tip of the iceberg. We in discovery phase. I'm not worried about ICE agents coming into my house and getting my people up out of there and getting me up out of there. You know why? Because I'm chilling. I'm comfortable. We cool. We chilling. We safe. We can walk outside. We ain't got to worry about a bunch of people coming and rolling up in vans. We don't have to worry about none of that. Safety, cool. Police officers, dope. They enforce the law over here. I try to just walk, boy, try to do something like you ain't supposed to do. They gonna, hey man, listen, what you got going on? Pull that car over. Well, we got a no tolerance. This is no tolerance. I don't care who you are and what you got going. That's the police to tell you. They'll tell you that right there. We don't have no tolerance for people that's doing stuff they ain't supposed to do. That's what the native is. Now, over in Los Angeles, y'all can get away with that. Over in Los Angeles, you can get away with that. You can do whatever you want to do. The police ain't going to arrest you, and it ain't even the police fault. They short police officers. You can get away with it, and they do it because they're instructed to, and they understand that once they arrest you, it's not like they're going to keep you down and that the judge ain't going to hold you down anyway. You can do what you want to do. Here, we not playing that nonsense. Play the game if you want to. Mess around and get caught up if you want to.
People are upset about, including myself.
And it's 2:02 there, Los Angeles time, in where you are. How long do you expect this to go on? Does it appear that this is going to continue?
Oh, another person you inherited. Listen. I'm gonna be very, very clear. 407. I shouldn't even address this. I wish I did. I really do wish I did. My mom wishes, because I'm wondering why my mother didn't get it and instead I got it. Or none of my three brothers got it, but instead I got it. I wish I could say, if we was offline, I would use words that I can't use online to address you. I'm waiting. Whenever the insurance company contact my mom and let me know, because apparently they skipped her and they contacted me and they gave me some money that I'm not familiar with. Y'all, you know what the real issue is? You know what the real issue is? Y'all so mad that y'all can't be held accountable or that I can't be held accountable. Let me tell you what the real issue is, and I'm gonna get back to this LA thing. Let me really address people. For the entire time as I continue to grow, because make no mistake about it, I'm one of the hottest motherfuckers on the internet right now. People using my name for clickbait. They don't got no motion. People's platforms is dying, and I'm just running up a fucking bag, and I am the king of this YouTube shit right now. Nobody is messing with me. Nobody in my sphere is messing with me. I am the king. I run things. I am the controller of what's happening. But see, it remind me, especially you grown men, especially the grown men that's bitches. Shout out to my grown bitches. I love you hoes. You my hoes. Let me tell you why they so bothered, right? Why they make up rumors and stuff like this. Because if they could prove it, they absolutely would. If they could prove it, they absolutely would. Let me tell you the real. Let me address these little girls right now. It reminds me of women, right? When I hold women accountable, you know what bothers them the most? Is that they can't apply the same things that they've done to the predecessors of my past to me. So they can't use the same excuses and say, well, you not married, or you have children out of wedlock, or you this, or you that. And so you'll see stuff like that in the chat, right? You'll see stuff like that in the chat. And it's not even relevant to anything that we talking about with regard to the subject. But these are grown men in their feminine energy. And so because I'm the Teflon Ton, and because they can't go into anything because I show all receipts, and I'm the personification of the thing that I'm telling other people to be. All they can say is, I feel some type of way about you. So then what they do is they make up rumors. And it's the same thing with the women was doing it, and now it's the men. Because I say that you need to get it out the mud, and that I was broke, and that I was raised in Detroit on Norfolk and Chippewa on Greenlawn, and that we had to catch the bus, and that I had to buy my own first car, and I had a father in my life, but the only thing that he really gave me, which was all I ever needed, was great advice on how it is that I need to be a man, and he let me suffer through it in order to get to it, but he gave me the foundation of what it takes in order to be successful, meaning that there are no excuses. Go and get that shit out the mud. Make sure you stay down for 10 years before you start to do anything, and make sure you capitalize off of the fact that people watching you. Because both views, they matter the same. It don't differentiate between a dislike and a like. It all happens the same. So now, because we got these grown men in diapers and Depends that feel some type of way, you know what I'm saying? Because they lean on rumors and in order to lean, instead of leaning on what's real, they do the same thing that the women do. I would say that the men are more feminine than the women. Of course, Lennox, my arrogance is to the max. But see, there's a difference between arrogance and confidence. The difference between arrogance and confidence is that I actually back it up, that I actually show the receipts, that I am exactly who it is that I say that I am. And it's nothing that you can do to stop me. And that's the worst part about it. You don't even realize, in less than a year, I'll have over 2 million subscribers across all platforms. The Anton Daniels channel, mark my word today, June 9th, 2025, June next year, the Anton Daniels channel will be well over 1 million subscribers. I guarantee it. And there's nothing you can do about it. And I'm still going to go on the I Choose You 2 tour, and I'm still going to fuck your chick. With all that being said, I'm still going to choose her back. Your girl is mine. So I'm going to give you something to really be upset about. I'm going to start, listen, the content that's going to be about me and the next 3 months is, I don't like that dude. Because my chick got home at 4 in the morning and she was discombobulated because she couldn't stand correctly because she found a horse. It's her first horse. Horsing around. Damn near broke the insides of her. Ain't nothing working the way that it was supposed to work after I'm going to get done with her. Because I'm going to choose her too. I promise you that. Now, let's get back to the show.
I made my own calls to, of course, the governor's office, to folks that we need to de-escalate this. They need to send these people home so that our community can go home and stop.
That's our chick, Royal Heart.
You
can have her when I'm done with her.
Because people are upset. I don't know how long it's going to be here. I came here since 9 a.m. myself with community, and they've been standing their stage there. And we've seen throughout the morning different vehicles.
Aaron, you don't think your mom know what I'm talking about?
Mama, and so we have a feeling that they're doing raids throughout the LA, Los Angeles area.
And we have word now that the FBI is investigating what's going on. Have you seen any FBI agents or anyone like that where you are?
Not as of now. Again, I've seen Border Patrol vests and uniforms that they're wearing, the agents. With guy on the
Nina. You said you gave up on Anton behaving as a Christian. See how they tried to stop me in the middle of my live stream? I was just about to go in. To stop me in the middle of my live stream? I was just about to go in again. Maybe that's a sign.
People, as they get close to them, anytime that with vehicles leave the facility or the parking lot, they throw these they're gassing people so they can move away from the area, and so these vehicles leave the premises.
And how
but I have not seen anyone from the FBI here yet.
Yeah. How often would you say you're hearing these flashbangs or seeing this tear gas deployed?
It's been throughout the morning, to be honest with you. I actually was close to them, just monitoring the situation. I was affected myself earlier because they were shooting toward the area where I was standing. Of course, I ran through that, and it was the first time I ever got gas in my eyes, and of course, the coughing. So it's my first time experiencing it. It's not a good feeling.
And have you seen anyone be detained or arrested?
We did see about 4 people that were arrested that were demonstrators. They were on this side of the fence demonstrating. Again, I can't justify why they were being detained, but obviously they were demonstrating against the agents being here physically in our community.
Yeah. And again, just to underscore what you were saying, it sounds like, based on your description, that the demonstrators that are gathering range in peaceful demonstraters to some who are being more aggressive, who are physically pushing back.
They've been upset. I think that they get closer to the agents, of course, right? So, of course, the agents are doing their part to show their part, right? But people are demonstrating, and there's a lot of peaceful demonstration, but there are people that obviously are just upset, and they're showing their anger through that. I have encouraged people through my social media to please be peaceful as they're demonstrating. Do not use violence. That's not what we want to do. We don't want to add to their narrative. We want to make sure that people are demonstrating. We live in a democratic process where people can express their feelings and how they're feeling, but of course do it in a peaceful manner.
Yeah. And just again, to underscore, as you were talking to you, we're looking at live video. And look, there's a lot of law enforcement there. Just the posture that we're seeing from law enforcement in your neighborhood. This is a big response, it seems.
Yes, we definitely don't have any local authorities because we don't engage with supporting any of ISIS, strategies that they do. So we don't have any local or state agencies collaborating with them. They're working on their own at their own merit at this point.
All right,
Federal agents.
Yeah, Assemblyman Salachi, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, and thank you for reporting this. And we have to make sure we keep community safe.
Protests boiling over for a second day in the streets of Los Angeles amid the Trump administration's immigration crackdown.
This is so dumb. It's so dumb. And I think that the masks that we used during the COVID administration, it was the precursor to how it is that people can protect themselves and protect their identity, which a lot of these people are paid protesters. It was a way for these people to protect themselves and act like and observe like they shouldn't be prosecuted for some of the crimes that they're perpetuating. It's so stupid. I hope that they identify every single person that committed a violent act and that these people are held accountable to the highest extent and to the highest regulations of the law. I think that they should be prosecuted and thrown in jail. 100%. You like that rant, ABJ's wife? You know I'm liable to do it. You know I'm liable to do it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it for the people that is in Los Angeles and is actually real taxpayers. For the people that have businesses over in those communities. We never care. We never, ever care about the people that is of the community, that is the fabric, that is the glue, the taxpayers, the property taxpayers, all of those people. We don't acknowledge those people. Nobody cares about them. They care more about illegal migrants over into this country than they do about the people that actually do the things that is good for the community. It's so dumb. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I lost some of the super chats, I think, when I lost my connection a little bit for a second. When I froze for a second. But that's all right. That's all right. We cool. We'll get there. We'll get there. You guys are my co-hosts of the show. Let me read a couple of super chats that I can see, though. If it's any that I miss your car, please send them to me, and then I'll acknowledge them, and we'll get to them, all right? Mr. Lawton said, don't forget you're supposed to be, oh yeah, I'm Nigerian and I'm divorced. You're right about that. I agree. Hold on. I'm going to have to go and look that up too and see what's going on with that. It's crazy how grown men can tune in and want to see a man fall instead of becoming motivated. Well, you know what it is. You know what it is. That's why I don't believe in community, to be honest with you. Not in the type of community that other people are. That's why I rock with my bag chasers. Because if it was up to other people, they would absolutely tear me down. 100%. They would 100% try to tear me down. Absolutely. Without even thinking twice about it. Hooper 40 says, I'd hate to see violent protests if this is peace. James Watt says, Teflon Ton, most men now are tampon boys. Shout out to you. Salute. Absolutely. All right, but before we get off of Trump, because I want to get into this Riley Gaines conversation, but before we get off of Trump, he did make his final, what seems like his last and final statement about Elon Musk. So I want to spend 10 minutes on that. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. This is what he had to say. All right, I'm going to read those shortly. This is what he had to say about Elon Musk and what Elon Musk did inside of the White House to Scott Bessent. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn your notifications. Check it out.
All right, when it comes to Elon Musk and Donald Trump, it looks like their relationship has ended. President Trump talked to ABC, and he said President Trump on Saturday said there would be serious consequences if tech mogul Elon Musk funds Democratic candidates to run against Republicans who vote in favor of the GOP's sweeping budget bill. Asked if he thought his relationship with the Tesla and SpaceX CEO was over, Trump said, I would assume so, yeah.
Yeah, there's also a story about what really happened when Scott Bessent and he clashed over who would run the IRS, and also about Doge and what they were doing at Treasury. And when they left the office, the story is that Musk tried to ram him like a rugby player as he was in the hall, and then Bessent hit him back, and Trump evidently said, this has got to stop. So there was definitely a scrum and yelling in the hall. I didn't know there was physical confrontation. Here's what Caroline Levitt said.
I certainly wouldn't describe it as a fist fight, Maria. It was definitely a disagreement. Although I was not there, I didn't witness it with my own eyes. I heard about it through secondhand reporting. But again, we've moved on from that. The president has moved on from it. And the entire administration is focusing on passing this bill. But also, Maria, cutting waste, fraud, and abuse from our government remains a critical component of this administration's agenda.
In my view, the thing that did it was not the criticism of the bill, which is not helpful, but the president overcome that. When he said the Epstein thing and when he said the president should be impeached. Are you crazy? This is an hour after you got the key to the Oval Office, after he stood up to you with the controversial things you did. I know about the $280 million. No one begged you to do it. And Trump won elections without being wildly outraised. $1 billion didn't get Kamala Harris over the finish line, and $288 million didn't get President Trump the victory. It definitely helped. He's definitely an asset. I'm in awe of his intellect. But when he got personal like that, why would you expect Trump to say, okay, just tell him to call me and we'll forget it?
Well, the president is still furious about the whole situation. He has every right to be. But as I said last week on the couch, I believe that Elon Musk is going to come around. And you already saw it yesterday. He was retweeting the president when it came to California. He was retweeting the administration, Marco Rubio, as well as J.D. Vance yesterday about the response to what's happening in Los Angeles. And I think it goes all back to my original point. There's nowhere else to go, Elon. Either you're going to be with the party of crazy, which you just saw our first story of letting their city be on fire, or you're going to try to make this party better. There's a legitimate criticism when it comes to big, beautiful bill, but you just can't shut down the entire bill as a result.
We were all talking over the weekend, like, what do you think happened? What made him just flip his switch?
Well, they say Sergio Gore had a lot to do with it.
Do you think, though, I mean, he was on Joe Rogan's show smoking marijuana. Do you think he was microdosing? Do you think he was in a different place?
I don't want to project that, but I will say he's up with the thing that put him over the top. Is when Sergio Gore, who's head of personnel, said this NASA guy, Mr. President, has given hundreds of thousands of dollars to Democratic causes, only gave you money after you won. He's going to have trouble getting through confirmation. And when they pulled the NASA guy out, who directly affects his business, and they need to work together, he said that was the last straw. Evidently, Sergio Gore and Elon Musk had this huge rivalry because he was dressed down. Musk dressed him down in front of people. He says, you're hiring people way too slow. Your vetting process is way too strict. You got to get people staffed. So that confrontation led to that confrontation, and that put him over the top.
But the bottom line, there's one commander in chief, and that's Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, and he has the support of the American people overwhelmingly in the last election.
I'm Steve. So I went across and I went and looked up what different people that are largely conservative or supported the Republican Party during this past election. And I went and typed it in on multiple different platforms, and I wanted to see what the sentiment is, right? Because where I stand in particular, I didn't vote for Elon Musk. I voted for Donald Trump. I think that Elon Musk is a phenomenal businessman. I think that he's awesome at what he does as an engineer, as an innovator, and even as a CEO, and being able to drive profits and innovation and cut through the bullshit so that he can ultimately make a company profitable, which is good for American businesses. But I did not vote for Elon Musk to run the United States of America. And while I do agree with him on some things, you can't be throwing a whole fucking tantrum in the White House. And it's funny because I was going to look. Let me see if I could pull it up. I couldn't believe my ears or my eyes, so to speak. So when I go to Elon Musk on Twitter, or let's just say X, formerly known as Twitter, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So I go to X, formerly known as Twitter, right? And I go to Elon Musk, and less than 15 hours ago, he's reposting what Trump put up on Trump's platform, talking about Governor Newsom and the LA riots and stuff like that. So wait a minute. You're telling me that the person that you just accused and that you was talking crazy about just a day or two ago, last week, all of a sudden you screenshotting and you reposting stuff that they put that's in support of some of the things that you agree with or you disagree with regard to the LA riots, you just moved on just like that? Yo, family. Fam. When I started seeing him retweet Donald Trump and stuff like that, I was like, what? What kind of crash dummy is this? Crazy. So you just threw a whole tantrum. You said some wild stuff about me, all of that stuff. And now all of a sudden you cool with me again? I think so, Moses King. I think so. I think he bipolar. Real talk. I think he's bipolar. How do you do that in less than 24 hours? And then all of a sudden you start reposting stuff. Because I went on X and I said, wait a minute. What is this? I was confused. And then when I found out that he had bumped into Scott Bessent, or he actually like ran into him like on some like G type stuff, like some beef type stuff, I said, man, what is this? What's wrong with Elon? It was already crazy enough that he walked in with a black eye. And it's like, bruh, what is you doing?
All right, here we go. The White House addressing reports of a physical altercation between Elon Musk and Treasury Secretary Scott.
So wait. Y'all saying that? Are y'all telling me in the chat that autism causes you to do erratic stuff like this? Is that what y'all telling me in the chat? Listen, bro, we got to stop saying autism, bipolar, all of this stuff. And we just need to start calling a spade a spade. It's called crazy. And two things can be true at the same time. You could be crazy and wild and have a temper and a temper tantrum and act like a child. And you could be right about some issues and some things. And you could be a great businessman, or you can be a phenomenal engineer and you can see numbers and you can see a vision and you can execute on that vision. And then you can go home and make a whole bunch of baby mamas. Bruh, from a logical perspective, when you start to see behind the scenes and you see people behavior, I mean, what he do? What the dude got like 10, 12 baby mamas? We don't talk about Elon Musk in the same vein as we talk about Future. We don't talk about Elon Musk the same way that we talk about Future and Nick Cannon. All your baby mamas don't like you? All your baby mamas have a problem with you? Look, once we start pulling behind the curtain, now I got to start evaluating. Wait a minute. You running into people? You bullying the financial guy inside of the White House?
Besson earlier this year.
I certainly wouldn't describe it as a fist fight, Maria. It was definitely a disagreement. Although I was not there, I didn't witness it with my
facts. Point to point, Elon is too rich for us to hold accountable. I'm not holding him accountable. I'm just saying that the context clues is a little wild. That's all I'm saying. I can't hold nobody accountable that don't want to be held accountable. Somebody that got over 200, 300, 400 billion dollars. Facts. I agree with you. He probably closer to a trillionaire than we all realize. I agree with you. We can't hold them accountable. Trump can't even hold them accountable. All Trump said is, all right, I'm done. I don't want to talk to him no more. Agreed.
My own eyes. I heard about it through secondhand reporting. But again, we've moved on from that. The president has moved on from it. And the entire administration is focusing on passing this bill.
Yep, but in the midst of Musk's public fallout with the president, our next guest says at least we're arguing over how and where to slash spending, pointing out that just 3 years ago, the only spending talk was about how much would we spend. Wall Street Journal editor James Freeman joins us now. So we know about the physical stuff and people get into that. We already knew they were yelling at each other, body check or not. Your thoughts about the issues that Elon brought up when he exited?
Yeah, well, I think Elon is angry in part because the cutting of the green subsidies went a little further than he wanted. Now, I don't want to knock Elon for that because I think he's really done the taxpayers a great service over the last several months trying to cut federal spending generally. I'm also not expecting him to be in a UFC match with Secretary Besson anytime soon, and that's probably good for everybody. But yeah, the point I'm making only is, as you point out, the last time Washington did a reconciliation bill, that was 3 summers ago, that was the so-called Inflation Reduction Act. And this new big, beautiful bill is moving entirely in another direction. It's going to end up with the government spending less over the long term. The cuts are not as big as we would like. We hope the Senate goes even further because we obviously have a big debt and deficit problem. But overall, this is about restraining government, lower taxes, lower spending. And I think amid all this kind of personal conflict we've seen the last few days, I think for taxpayers, they should like the big picture in terms of the trajectory here finally turning around on government spending.
I just think for the administration, get people out there that know the bill, that can explain it in everyday terms. And OMB director does a great job, and so does Speaker Johnson. I want you to hear what he said about the fracas and about where they go from here.
Yes.
Look, I didn't go out to craft a piece of legislation to please the richest man in the world. What we're trying to do is help hardworking Americans who are trying to provide for their families and make ends meet. Those are the people that are going to be excited about what this legislation produces.
And that's what they got to do. It's 1,000 pages. Not many people can read 1,000 pages, except for the guys at the Wall Street Journal like you.
AI.
So they got to put it into everyday terms. Democrats want a different argument. They're not with Elon. They want to just spend like crazy. So they don't even know how to attack except for saying it's a tax break for billionaires. So this is a really Republican on a Republican fight.
Yeah, and the details matter. And again, it would be great to get lower spending out of the Senate. But big picture, the heart of this is maintaining, simply not having a tax increase, but maintaining those great 2017 reforms that President Trump signed the last time he was in office.
Right.
By the way, a lot of this, I would say the heart of the bill is the president keeping campaign promises. Now, some of them I don't think do much for growth, and on policy, I'm not a big no.
When we do our live stream, I'm doing this live stream this week in a Patreon where I'm basically showing you guys some of the things that I am doing and some of the things that some of my friends have discovered with how you can leverage AI to increase your productivity, to build new applications, to write the prompts, how it is that we're leveraging in content creation. Because although I'm not a fan of AI as far as the direction that it's going in, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it later on in this live stream, I do think that it's something that's happening, and I don't think that we should ignore it because, change is evident, and if you don't evolve, then you're going to get left behind. But absolutely, you can get AI to read that in no time. That 1,000 pages, summarize it, pull it in bullet points. We're going to talk about it on the Patreon. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. We're going to go into that prior to we go into Stock Club for our next Stock Club. But we got the AI that we're going to talk about on the Patreon right after that.
No tax on tips, guys. I don't know why. I always want to take care of my bartender, but I don't understand why he should get a different tax regime than other people. But basically, this is about growth. Tax Foundation says the economy long term is 0.8% larger after we do this, about 1 million more jobs.
Yeah, I think that Elon Musk, honestly, if you want to know my honest opinion of Elon Musk, and this is just being real, I'm being 100% honest with you guys. My honest to God thoughts about Elon Musk is this. I believe that Elon should just shut up, bro. Shut up. Like, honestly, I think he really messing up the money. He messing up the business. He's starting to impede on things that we want to do and the unity that we had. And he, I would like for him to take a break. I don't think that he needs to take a permanent break, but I would like for him to take a minor break so that he can get back to running Tesla, focusing on SpaceX, focusing on the things that matter. The more that he focuses on things that's not relevant to what he got going on with his business, I would like for him to remove the volatility from investors' concerns and focus more on what he's great at and what he's a CEO of. Honestly, you said he need to fire his PR manager ASAP, King Ali. I don't think he has one. I don't believe that Elon Musk has a PR manager. I think he is a rogue agent doing what he want to do when he want to do it. I think he just need a break. He probably sleep deprived, got punched in the eye by one of his girlfriends or something like that. Who knows? I think he needs to just remove himself for a second and let the people that are elected to do certain jobs do their job. Make sure I hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these super chats. And I want to get into Simone Biles. I want to get into Riley Gaines and Simone Biles, but I'll get into that shortly. Let me see something. Make sure I can acknowledge all of the super chats that came before that. Let me read some of these. Shout out to Mika. Oh, okay, here we go. Victory Podcast says, AD, I was at Aldi's checking out in a trance wearing a dress with a 12 o'clock shadow. Said, what's up to the cashier and went to the women's bathroom. Nah, dog. No, dog. And thank you to Yakar, our phenomenal moderator and person that oversees what happens inside of the Discord also. He's an extension of me. Matthew Young called me the Diddy defender. Thank you, Matthew Young, for holding me down. Stephen Butler says, Hong Kong sprays rioters with blue dye, making it easier to identify people who were there. America needs to adapt this concept. Matthew Young says those illegal migrants pay billions in federal taxes and get nothing back. You won't bring that up, though. No, they don't. They get a lot of money under the table. They came over here illegally, and they need to be sent back and come over here the right way, like the people that did it the right way the first time. Keith Harlick says, in my city, in Jersey, brown people are displacing black people. Black people are moving down south to make room for brown people. AR says they waved the Mexican flag and says, for legal citizens that are getting arrested by ICE, I call BSAD. Jason A-Team says COVID changed the workforce forever and made people think a job isn't important anymore and to find another way. Because when the money stops moving, society collapses, always because of consumerism. Latonia, shout out to Latonia. I appreciate you, Latonia. Latonia says, you are turned away from jobs if you don't speak Spanish. When I complained, I was called the racist and wrong and told to learn the language. Really? Shout out to y'all. Rush King 19 says, everything these people stand for and want in their community is exactly why Mexico and other countries are how they are. No laws, anyone can come in. Deacon Weasel says they flying the flag of a country they cried about. Knox Econ says, all these folks defending the rioters, did you all not see what they did to Kobe, Gigi? Yeah, I heard about what they did to Kobe and Gigi's mural. Stop looking at whom you're defending. Mr. Marcus says, Anton, America is not our country. No, it's not your country. It's theirs. We were never Americans, African Americans at best, but even that's some BS. All right, so let me just say something to this, Mr. Marcus, and then I'm going to read the rest of the super chats. It is very much my country. Very much my country. Born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. Father born in Dawson, Georgia, raised in Detroit, Michigan. Grandfather was in Dawson, Georgia. Grandfather was in Georgia. So I don't know about you, but America is my country. I don't know Africa. I don't want to know Africa. I'm not interested in knowing anything about Africa. You can have Africa. Listen, everybody that don't believe that America is a country, you are more than welcome to deport yourself. And also, you can also claim citizenship, work to get citizenship in that other country. You can go to Africa, somewhere in Africa, and get citizenship. And you can renounce citizenship to the United States of America. I don't know. Ain't no us in that conversation. That's a you thing. You don't believe you're a part of this country. You're not the fabric of America. You don't believe in the Constitution and the ideals of this country. You are more than welcome to deport yourself. I do not support what you said at all. I do appreciate your super chat. I am an American citizen, born and raised. You are, this not your country. So I think you should leave. I think you should leave. Let me see, who was that? Was that Mr. Marcus? Mr. Marcus, I think you should leave. I think you should completely remove yourself from the United States of America. But this is certainly my country. I don't know what you're talking about. You can talk that nonsense if you want to. Teflon Time, most men now are tampon boys. Hey says, get your eyes checked, thank me later. I don't even know what that means, but I appreciate your hates. Abe the Hunter says, I told you that is about the black eye and his body movement. Like he was just hit on the side of the head. You remember that hit in the head experience? No, I don't remember the hit in the head experience. Matthew Young, shout out to Matthew, says deficit is going to grow, which Trump and MAGA conveniently ignores. That's why Elon is against it when the Republicans ran on lowering the deficit. Jay Hunter Lee says he needs to apologize publicly. He was in his feminine energy. Yeah, but you can't trust him again because who knows what he would act like again. Matthew Young says, Elon the enemy now that Elon went against Anton's Lord and Master. Elon Musk ain't the enemy. I just think he's crazy. I think that Elon is one of the greatest. Why do y'all create these narratives? Well, I'm going to read it anyway because you super chatted, so I appreciate the support of the platform. Mr. Lot says, I think he has his own cook making him batches. Probably. I don't doubt it. Anyways, make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I want to explore this Simone Biles conversation, all right? So Simone went completely off the deep end this weekend. I couldn't believe it. When I woke up this morning, I went and I looked it up again to make sure that this wasn't something that people was photoshopping. This was something that really happened, and it's true. Here, let me just go on X. For all of the people that say that they don't like Elon Musk, all of them is using X. Anytime you want to find something, anytime you want to look up something, anytime you're trying to figure out whether or not somebody is doing what they're supposed to do or on top of something, guess where we go? We go to X. Remember when everybody said that they wasn't rocking with it? That they was leaving? Let me show you what's happening on X, all right? This is what Simone Biles put up on X. She says, you're truly sick. All of this campaigning because you lost the race. Now, remember, let me remind you guys that this race was with a man, a biologically born man, and Simone Biles is supporting, and she tagged Riley Gaines. Simone Biles is supporting trans men, biologically born men, that say that I feel like I'm a woman competing in female sports. Supporting biologically born men. So Simone Biles, who I defended Simone Biles. And again, I think the two things can be true at the same time. When it came to her defending her choice of getting married to a man and rocking out when all of the black women came for her husband, when everybody tried to throw her under the bus, I actually thought that she did the right thing, and so I supported her. And so she says, you're truly sick, all of this campaigning because you lost the race. Straight up loser. Should be uplifting the trans community and perhaps finding a way to make sports inclusive, or creating a new avenue where trans feel safe in sports, maybe a transgender category in all sports, but instead you bullying them. One thing for sure is no one in sports is safe with you around. Now, this is against Riley Gaines. I'm going to get Riley Gaines' perspective shortly. She then goes on to say, this is actually so disappointing. It's not my job or the job of any woman to figure out how to include men in our spaces. You can uplift men stealing championships in women's sports with your platform. Men don't belong in women's sports. I say that with my full chest. That's what Riley Gaines said. That is what Riley Gaines said. Riley Gaines don't support men being in women's sports. And then Simone Biles goes on to say, bully someone your own size, which would ironically be a male. So Simone Biles is throwing ad hominem attacks. This is from her verified account, calling Riley Gaines a man. That's crazy. That is crazy. That is absolutely insane to me. Can't believe that Simone Biles would call anybody manly. Now, I'm not a person that's going to attack Simone Biles because I think it's beneath me. I think it's beneath Riley Gaines. But Riley Gaines did have a reply to this, and so I'm going to share this with you guys. Again, make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. This is Riley Gaines made 2 posts about it, and this was her response to it. Check it out.
Simone Biles, the Olympic gymnast, the best of the best, bar none. There is no one else even remotely in her league in women's gymnastics. I guess in an attempt to be...
Now, this is the woman, again, that she called manly. This is the woman that she said looked like a man. I just want to make sure that everybody get the full context.
Inclusive and virtuous, decided to sell out all women and girls who have dreams to achieve and to succeed, and to specifically personally attack and body shame me. She tweeted this out of the blue, like this came out of nowhere, and she said, Riley, me, you're truly sick, all of this campaigning because you lost a race. First of all, if she's insinuating I lost to a man, I've lost several races in my career, duh, that's part of being an athlete. But if she's saying I lost to a man, that's factually incorrect. We tied. Besides the point. Straight up sore loser. You should be uplifting the trans community and perhaps finding a way to make sports inclusive, or creating a new avenue where trans feel safe in sports. Let me get something straight. It's my job. It's the women's job. This is what Simone Biles is saying. It's the women's job to find a way for the men's feelings to be validated. for their identity to be affirmed. That's not my job, actually, at all. So to say I should be doing this is insane. If she wants to use her platform to uplift men and women's sports, then by all means. But it's certainly not my job, and I don't believe it's the job of any woman to do this. She goes on to say, but instead you bully them. One thing's for sure, no one in sports is safe with you around. I can't even make sense of that last part, actually. Then out of the blue, she tweeted this: bully someone your own size, which would ironically be a male, which is hilarious, really for two reasons. Number one, she's acknowledging there are differences, like physiological, biological differences between men and women in saying this. Secondly, I'm 5'5", which might seem like a giant to someone who's like 4'7", 4'8", but I'm pretty standard size for a woman. I guess like relatively muscular, right? Being an athlete, I would imagine Simone would understand that, but I weigh like 135 pounds, 5'5", of pretty much pure muscle. And again, if anyone would understand that, you would think it's Simone Biles, a woman who has historically been scrutinized for having a very muscular, masculine-looking body. She was scrutinized to the point she did this whole body positivity campaign. Then she has the nerve to say that I look like a man. And not to mention, this is a woman who has been incredibly brave in calling out.
She's sitting in that Cybertruck too. I'm gonna just say that out loud.
And witnessing the horrific sexual abuse that she and hundreds of other female gymnasts faced at the hands of one sexual predator, that predator being Larry Nassar. In the
Shep says, I bet Simone will whoop her though. This is why we need to get a separate, because room 9 is one thing, but we need to get a separate section for the other people. Bruh, what does that have to do with anything? Do you expect for us to just have a debate about who would win in a fight when they're talking about trans people in women's sports? You know, we got bigger fish to fry, right?
the same breath believing that vulnerable women should be forced to strip down naked in front of men in locker rooms so long as it makes the man feel happy. If Larry Nassar came out as trans, would Simone think it's responsible or safe for him to be housed in a women's prison? To be very, very clear, I could care less what Simone Biles says about me. I'm a very secure person. I know I'm on the right side of history. I'm married, so if she wants to say I look like a man, I literally could care less. The most heartbreaking part about this, for me, is the platform that she has and the amount of young girls who look up to her. That
Real
she
Desiree.
just, in a blink of an eye, sold out to appear to be virtuous. What we saw from Simone is the
Y'all know that some of us like to enjoy life. We like to chill. We like to relax. We like to have a good time. We like to party. We like putting on a playlist that then get women in the mood to want to dance and then be able to interact a little bit more. Some of us is like, we grew out of that. You know what I'm saying? Like that was like when you was like 11, 12, 13, 14 years old. By the time you hit high school, you was kind of off that wave because you was looking forward to college and you was trying to go to college to go see what's up in the dorms and stuff like that. Like some of us grew out of that a long time ago. And we only look at having to have physical violence under the worst circumstances. Like, okay, there's nothing else that we can do. We got to scrap up. We got to go ahead and line it up. Some of us is like, I'm 43. I'm not interested in talking about scrapping. I don't even watch fight videos. I don't even care. Unless it's a fight that we can go to like Clarissa Shields or something like that. Unless it's something that we can actually go and attend and sit courtside and feel on something that's sitting next to us, we off that, bro.
definition of pulling up the ladder behind you, something people like Megan Rapinoe have also done. I have a feeling that if Simone's inclusive dream came true, she would have 0 Olympic medals and no one would even know who she is. So if she wants to advocate for men and women's sports, by all means, it's America. You get to do that. I get to call you stupid for it, but you get to do that. Maybe in the 28 Olympics, she can compete and pommel horse in the rings. But
so she made a second follow-up post about this, and this is specifically what Riley Gaines had to say.
this past weekend, Olympic champion Simone Biles said, "I look like a man." Let's unpack this. Brief background on me. Outspoken Christian, outspoken conservative, outspoken Trump supporter, outspoken advocate for keeping men out of women's sports, which is just about the least controversial take on the entire planet. But because of that take, Simone Biles posted this on X, like literally out of the blue. I'm going to assume that she said I looked like a man because I'm relatively muscular. I'm not overly tall. I'm 5'5", which maybe seems like a giant to someone who's 4'8", but I'm assuming it's because I have muscles. This was crazy to me coming from her. Number one, because I've admired her for so long. She is the best of the best in her sport, bar none. But secondly, this came from a woman who has experienced so much scrutiny because of her muscular stature. It didn't take me long to find this video of Simone Biles.
I'm Simone Biles and I love my body. It helps with gymnastics and it teaches younger girls to love their bodies as well. I got made fun of for my arms a lot. Some people would say like mean things. They used to call me like a soldier. At the time, it didn't make me feel the best, so I wore sweaters or jackets all year long. To body shamers, let me see. I feel like if you love your body, then that's all you can do, so it doesn't matter what anybody else says. So I think they have to learn to fall in love with themselves. And I think it's out of jealousy sometimes.
Crazy she's been a part of all of these body positivity campaigns and even explicitly sent a message to body shamers and then body shame me. So I have a question for Athleta, one of Simone Biles' sponsors, who claim they sponsored her to empower young girls. Is this what you call empowering women and girls? Because I don't think so. I think I'll spend my money elsewhere.
If you want to see white people are getting smarter, they saying, you know what? I'm going to kill you with kindness, and then I'm going to have a conversation about your sponsors or with your sponsors on what you're saying with these ad hominem attacks. But the fact of the matter is, I think that Riley Gaines is absolutely right. It has nothing to do with whether she's white. It has nothing to do with whether Simone Biles is black. This is another reason why I say I don't rock with people just purely based off of the color of their skin, because we may have two different principles. We may have a different way in which we look at life that you think is right. I may not think is right, but I'm not going to align with you and I'm not going to support you just because you black. I'm going to support you if we align and we going in the same direction, or if you're more closely, in agreement with the way that I think that society should go. This is the perfect example of why you don't just support people blindly just because they black, or just because they a woman, or just because they white, or just because they a man. You have to vet the source. I 100% more closely align with Riley Gaines and that men should not be in women's sports. I don't even know why this is an issue. I am just amazed. I am taken aback that we are still having this debate and having this conversation. Why are we having a conversation? Why do we have to defend y'all against something that's good for y'all? Men shouldn't be in women's sports. Is that really a hot take? Is that something that we should like? Is that something that we should be debating still? Anyways, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read a couple more things. Couple more super chats, and then I want to end the show on something else. Or should I hold off until tomorrow? I'm broke, ain't got it, says, in Poland, they shooting people there at the border. Just Christian says, I bet he won't leave America. Big Euro Short says trans don't even make up enough of the population. He also says, why do black women always jump in on every cause like this ain't even our fight? What up, Angel? Angel says the Boule cabal tapped Simone on the shoulder and say this or else. It says say this or else. New Ball says Simone Biles look more like a man. Gotta look in the mirror. The Gray Way says we're living in the twilight zone, bro. I agree with you. I agree. I don't disagree at all, Gray Way. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Y'all said keep going. All right, well, let's go ahead and address one more thing, all right? So, I've been talking a lot about AI. We have a new live stream that we got coming up on the Patreon. So it's going to be a Patreon exclusive. And I'm going to teach you guys what I've been using. I've spent the money so that you guys don't have to. Right now, I think I'm paying $150 a month. Is it $150 a month? And it's supposed to go up to $250 a month for Google's Ultra. I've been comparing it. I also pay for ChatGPT. And so I've been comparing the two, and then I've been looking at other AI tools. I've been building certain things, and I've been playing with it for a while now. And so I did it so you don't have to. And I'm going to deep dive into it and show y'all how y'all can practically use it to level up and where the direction of society is going and how you can make money from it. Because let's be clear, it all comes back down to the money. But recently I've been doing live streams, and I've been having conversations about the downfalls of AI, the benefits and also the downfalls, and where I see the industry going, what jobs is going to replace. But Amazon in particular is making a huge bet on physical AI, not just the apps, not just the prompts, but the physical aspects of how we can implement AI into society. And this is what they had to say about it. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
Morgan Stanley's out with a new note today, calling Amazon an underappreciated Gen AI winner, citing its investments in automating $200 billion in logistics costs. Those dollars could have a major impact for Amazon's core e-commerce business. Our Kate Rooney's here with more for today's Tech Check. They have been active this week, Kate.
Yeah, Carl, some news this week, but from the beginning of the big tech AI race, if you think about it, Amazon CEO Andy Jassy has really argued that this technology is going to help their business internally. He's said at certain points they're not just competing here because it's cool and because it's the newest buzzword. We are seeing some more proof of that strategy as AI now emerges as a way to keep costs down within Amazon's giant e-commerce business. So in part, they're using robots in Silicon Valley. This is often known as physical AI. And then they're also streamlining that supply chain. Amazon does need this more than ever right now with the threat of tariffs and higher prices. The trade war has weighed on shares, negative on the year, really lingering in the middle of the Mag 7 lately. This week, Amazon rolled out some incremental AI updates. One new model was meant to speed up delivery. Another is to upgrade its fleet of robots, which in turn helps automate warehouses and keep costs down. So the key here for investors is margins. Right now, Amazon's business has roughly 11% operating margins for e-commerce. It's about half of that, but had gone negative if you think back to COVID, and those margins have since recovered. Gene Munster, for example, over at Deepwater, thinks Amazon could get to 15% operating margins if all of these AI efforts end up paying off, especially in robotics. He compared it really to Tesla's strategy. Munster thinks a bulk of the value right now in AI for Amazon is in fulfillment center robots. I did speak to Amazon's robotics chief technologist who described these AI updates as a way to improve the brains of these machines.
We call it physical AI because what we're doing is we're blending the mind with the body. We can create a more adaptive robot. We can take on the menial, the mundane, and the repetitive, eliminate that with our robotics. We can improve efficiencies for our customer to pass along a low cost as well.
So, all right. So let me break this down for y'all from a practical C student's perspective so you can better understand what they're trying to communicate to us. All right. So somebody in the chat, let me just highlight the super chat really quickly because it's a bunch of different layers that we need to get on top of this. The first thing that I want to say is, hold on. Rage King Leo says going to help with layoffs. I disagree. If you studied Amazon, and I study Amazon, I'm also an investor in Amazon, so let me preface this by saying that if you study Amazon, then you know that Amazon have a decent turnover rate. Why? Because people don't want to work like that. Drivers don't want to drive. Warehouse workers don't want to warehouse work. A lot of people like to complain and say, oh man, the rates is too high. If you know what a rate is, if you've ever worked in a warehouse or a supplier or auto manufacturer, then the rate is what the expectation is as far as what you need to deliver every single hour or on average for a day, how many packages you're supposed to have processed, how many different pieces, how much you're supposed to have manufactured, whatever. That's what your rate is. And so a lot of people are lazy, or a lot of people say, oh man, I don't like it. I can't keep up. I don't like physical work. And so they have a decent turnover rate, but Amazon is still growing. So they're not divesting from warehouses. They're investing in building a larger infrastructure so that what? They can deliver faster, they can deliver more efficiently, but they can be the leader in e-commerce when it comes to people. All right. So there's not going to be layoffs. There's going to be natural attrition. Natural attrition is much different than physical layoffs. Physical layoffs are, here's your pink slip. I'm basically firing you, and good luck finding another job, get your unemployment, whatever. Natural attrition is we're just not going to continue to hire people because we're going to replace them, not only just with robots, but with robots that can think, physical AI. All right. Now, the other side of it is margins. They saying that right now they have an 11% margin. If you guys remember, during certain parts during the pandemic, their current CEO did not get a bonus, did not get equity. Why? Because the company underperformed based off of whatever it is that they were investing in and higher costs. So he took a hit one year because CEO pay is largely tied to the performance of the company, which then give you equity shares. That's why Elon Musk, that's why Tim Cook, that's why Jeff Bezos is so rich. It's not because they got paid a lot. It's because the equity that they got paid in the company then exploded or grew over time. And so CEO pay is largely tied to the performance of the company so that it incentivizes them to make the right decisions and not just make shortcuts or get a small pay right now because you're going to longly have to pay for or benefit from whatever it is that the company does. So they're trying to increase their margin from 11% to 15%, which is huge for a company that does the type of volume that they make. Amazon largely makes the majority of their money off of Amazon Web Services. All right. The e-commerce division, which they have to generate a ton of revenue in order to do a 10% margin, they want to increase that to 15% by increasing efficiency, which also reduces loss. You don't have as many lost packages. You don't have people calling off. You don't have people having crashes. Ain't nobody coming in there and tearing up nothing. You increase efficiency, you reduce waste, and then you also increase margin as a result of it. You don't have to deal with people. You got to deal with programmers. All right. So what this is basically saying is that Amazon is betting on not needing a whole lot of people in order to ensure that its operations remain efficient. AI is going to be there to assist people to be more efficient, not necessarily just to replace. You know how y'all was saying, oh man, we need all of these illegal migrants over here because ain't nobody going to want to do the jobs that we don't want to do. Well, now you got a replacement. You can go home. Go home, Roger. Go home, Roger. Now you can go home. We ain't got to worry about it. Listen, they got AI robots and tractors that oversee everything inside of the field, the farms, from farm to table, warehouses, all of this stuff. We don't need the type of labor that y'all thought that we needed. That's why they're expediting the process of investment inside of the United States of America so that the jobs that we do have will be higher paying if you have the right skill set. Let's continue.
This could go even further. There was a report from The Information this week that Amazon is now testing humanoid robots for delivery. Right now, Amazon has almost 1 million of these machines out there in warehouses. I would say the vast majority, though, are not humanoid robots. They're sort of these robotics arms you can see on the screen there, for example, or they sort of look like giant Roombas on these factory floors. If robots and AI and supply chain can meaningfully keep costs down, investors are going to be more willing to support about $100 billion in capex that Amazon has been shelling out right now, guys.
We're just going to throw another number in, which was 1.56 million people. That's how many Amazon employs globally. I mean, we've been talking about the job threat or job.
You can start to see that reduce. The more that they invest in that, the less they got to worry about workers' compensation, layoffs, whether or not you're going to show up today, all of that stuff. Autonomy is coming. It just is what it is. Listen. Y'all can fight it. You can complain about it. You can sit here and whine and say you don't like it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. The same way that the internet came in and kicked ass. The same way that they continue to update auto manufacturing. The same way that we started to replace physical data centers with cloud, which is more physical data centers, but is managed by larger companies. Change is inevitable. And if you don't adapt with it, then you're going to get left behind. And you're going to be sitting there talking about, no, we used to make cars by hand. And it used to be in the shop every single day.
Change, as Jim Breyer just said, to AI. When you're talking about productivity and more robots, I assume you're talking about cost savings on jobs and potentially
on
layoffs.
hiring. Yeah,
Beezy
it's a great
says
question.
selling cat is the new wave. Oh, they're going to get replaced too. Oh, you don't think that this AI robots that's coming? I've already did whole reports on the fact that they got AI. Bro, go to some of these shows. Go to some of these technology shows. Go to, what's the one in Vegas? It's, I forgot what it's called. It's the one that's coming. It's one that go in Vegas every single winter. It's called, I forgot what the name of the show is. I'm sure y'all will tell me inside of the chat. Go to some of these shows, some of the booths that most of the people, they sit there and act like they curious. Oh, I just want to know what's going on. No, bro. I'm telling you that they have physical robots and these dudes is going to be like, listen, I don't need no more modern women. I ain't even got to travel overseas no more and worry about no disease. I got me a physical AI girlfriend. That's right, King TV, and they're going to be asking for a full-throated apology. CES, shout out to y'all. I appreciate y'all. The Consumer Electronics Show. CES, I'll be there next year. Yep. CES. Royal Heart says that AI box feel better than Cassie box, I heard. Jesus, Lord have mercy.
Sarah, that's something we continuously ask them. And the immediate answer is typically, oh, it's actually in the near term going to result in more jobs. I know Jim Breyer said, oh, different jobs. And that is sort of the sentiment here. But you have to, if you're connecting the dots here, if it's more robots, especially humanoid robots, you would think the end result is fewer people. But with the job numbers out today, there's been arguments over not having enough people to work in some of these warehouses. But overall, Amazon hasn't said this. They've said, yeah, we're going to keep jobs stable. But that is one way that you could theoretically cut costs and keep costs down.
Yeah, the other wrinkle is that some of the reporting about their push on robotics this week suggests that they're testing a lot of Chinese-made robots, which adds a whole other level of complexity.
Right, Unitree. So it's sort of this smaller robot, but I was surprised to read that as well, Carl, that they have this partnership with Agility. The CEO of Agility Robotics, which is one of their partners, was on stage yesterday at a tech conference saying, actually, no, we're not doing this delivery part. They're really focused on the fulfillment centers. But that would be, I would say, an odd partnership if you look at it on its face. But they've got, as I said, almost 1 million of these robots out there. They've got a ton of different variations of it. Humanoids they're kind of the exciting sci-fi version of these, but it's such a small portion of what the actual robotics picture.
So AI is going to come in multiple different forms. It's not just going to come in the form that you think that it's going to come in. But again, I am going to be having a Patreon live stream on how you can leverage it, the business of it, different fields in industry that you can take advantage of as a result of it, all of that. We are going to have whole conversations. And I will post that inside of the Patreon about that next live stream. And then we got Stock Club coming right after that. All right. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Good show today. Very entertaining show. One day it might be a little bit different. Rage King Leo says, I wish they'll stop calling them protesters. And what they are terrorists. It's a strong word. That's a strong word, big dog. Live Sega says, Amazon been on this. I built the conveyor systems for a few Amazons, and they have Kiva robots to move products and sort out products. Yep, they have, but it's improving, though. It's improving a lot more. Rage King Leo says, work at Amazon, put on 60 hours a week when I can find shifts. They want to fire people. They write up their managers and fire their managers for not writing up people. They are ready to lay off. I'm a hard worker, not trying to be replaced by a robot. Well, then that means you need to get a different skill set, big dog. Devontae Dickens says, paid my school loan off. That $10K hurt. Boy, that's the best $10,000 you done spent in your entire life. You ain't never got to worry about that loan. None of them people, who is it? Fannie Mae, or not Fannie Mae, Nelnet and lenders coming to talk to you. They ain't got to send you no letters, none of that. James says, AD is speaking game on Amazon as a person who builds data centers for them in the DMV as a rigger. This is why changing fields, going back to school, cyber, AI, engineer tech, AS and CSC is necessary. I keep trying to warn people, but then they're going to wait too long and then they want to do it later. Do it now. Go back to school right now. AI freak-offs with WD-40. Not with WD-40, big dog. Shout out to Aaron L. Again, I appreciate y'all. You guys have been the greatest audience on earth. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sally Mae. I can't wait to get me a robot. No, I don't want a sex bot either. I want a regular robot. What would it do, though? I don't know what you would do with it. I guess you got to see what the introduction of it is, and then you can figure that out from there. Get you a Tesla bot, an Apple bot. I don't know. Anyways, Fannie Mae is your great grandma. Oh, my bad. All right, y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to see y'all on the Q show tonight. Peace.